but also a few things that have to do with the Chiefs and OTAs going on this week. Not necessarily connected there, but things this offseason and what to expect coming up this regular season. Video that was posted either over the weekend or late last week of, quote, every throw from Patrick Mahomes of 20-plus yards or something like that in a, quote, clean pocket, which we all have a different definition of clean pocket, apparently. It did not put Mahomes in the best light. I mean, I don't think anybody comes away with that going, brilliance. So I want to talk about that with Matt Verderam coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. What do you glean from that, take away from that? One of those is that not all of those clips were clean pockets. Some of them were he was running to his right and then threw it. Like, what makes that a clean pocket?
Well, there was no mud on the ground.
I think we have different definitions of clean pockets. I think Jalen Hurts is the definition of clean pockets. So we'll talk with Matt Verderam, Les Norman. We will break the norm today coming up at noon, and we'll get his thoughts on this Royals team that had a 7-game winning streak going, and now they are 5-10 in their last 15 games. And it has been the continual conversation of offensive
ineptitude.
Ineptitude is probably putting it in too positive a light at times. And these 15 games are averaging less than 3 runs per game. That includes 2 of the 15 in which they scored a total of 15 runs in 2 of the 15 games. So including those 2 games in which they scored 15 runs, they are still averaging fewer than 3 runs per game in this 5-10 stretch. We have not seen, while there have been glimpses at times and optimism at times and feeling like a corner was going to be turned at times, that light at the end of the tunnel keeps getting smaller, it seems, or it stays the same. It's like, oh, that light's getting bright. No, it's not. Okay. I guess that light was not brighter at all. I guess we thought the corner was coming up, but that was just an optical illusion. We're all in an inception. Everything's flipped. Everything's upside down right now. So we'll talk with Les Norman about if there's anything the Royals can do. They go up against Brady Singer tonight. If it's going to be raining, I think that's probably good news for the Royals with Brady Singer. They should probably sit on 2 pitches.
If
Slider.
If Salvi swings at a slider low and outside against Brady Singer, I am besides myself.
I am looking forward to that matchup because I think it would be hilarious if Singer just threw sliders low and away. 8 of them if he has to. Just slider low and away, slider low and away, slider low and away, slider low and away constantly. I think there's a chance that if Salvi went up there for an entire game and never swung the bat. Obviously, the 2-run home run doesn't happen yesterday. But if Salvi goes up there
Neither does a double play, by the way.
That's a good point. If Salvi goes up there for an entire game and never swings the bat, I'm convinced he'd have like a 500 on-base percentage. Because nobody's going to throw him 3 strikes before they throw him 4 balls.
No.
They're not going to throw him 3 inside the zone before they throw him 4 outside the zone, depending on how crazy and odd and inconsistent a strike zone is by that particular umpire that particular day. I'm convinced. Just try it one game. You time it up. You're stepping. The huge leg kick like Salvi, make him think, ooh, maybe even check swing on one. Like, I was thinking about it. Just like a check swing. Like, you almost got me there. You almost got me, but I am antsy. But never actually swing the bat. I think he takes at least 2 walks in the game. So we'll see Brady Singer tonight against the Royals. Reunion. First game back pitching against the Royals. Cool little video that they put together yesterday for Brady Singer. Thought that was nice. Not many fans there to watch it. So he's probably used to that. That's more typical of when Brady Singer would be at a game.
I don't blame the fans. It was Monday night with the rain.
Oh, I'm not blaming the fans at all. I'm just joking about the fact that they have this tribute to Brady Singer, and it's in front of like 10,000 people. And I'm like, well, that's... You know, when he came up with the big league club to, 21 and on to 22. And
wow, big crowd.
It's a late arriving crowd today. Okay, I get it. But no, I do not blame anybody that did not. I didn't want to go out there, so I don't blame anybody else that didn't want to be out there. It was just yuck yesterday is what it was. So Brady Singer on the mound tonight. The Royals right now, if the season were to end today, they would not be in the playoffs. They are technically tied with the Houston Astros, but the Astros have played a couple of fewer games, and so they have a .528 winning percentage, and the Royals have a .527 winning percentage. So technically the Astros are in the playoffs right now, while they're both tied. Winning percentage, the difference. So the Royals have fallen out of the playoffs for the first time in like a month and a half. Just showing what's going on. The Astros playing better baseball. The Royals have not played good baseball. Offensively, certainly. And it's unfortunate, too, because yesterday I'm looking at the lineup and I'm looking at the defense and I'm like, I'm kind of excited with Lorenzen on the mound against this Reds team that see what this defensive team can do. This is the best defense the Royals have put out there all season.
Yeah.
You've got 2 center fielders in the game, 1 in right field. You're replacing Renfroe in right field with a guy who plays center field throughout his minor league career, and John Rave. And then Nick Lofton plays a number of different positions, but certainly better than India in left field.
Agreed.
And you've got Garcia, Witt, Massey, Vinny, Salvi behind the plate. I guess best defense would be Freddie Fermin.
And maybe Drew Waters in left version. But I mean, we're splitting hairs there.
But what I didn't say was that their best possible defense. Yes. I think that was just their best defense they've put on the field at any point this year.
Agreed.
Best possible defense would be Fermin behind the plate and Waters in left. So I was looking forward to seeing what they would do with Lorenzen, but it did not matter because they didn't have many opportunities to make plays. Garcia did not make a play at third base. That was an odd error. Bobby Witt almost had back-to-back phenomenal plays in one inning, but that ball took a lower bounce than he was expecting and hit the not the heel, but sort of the pinky part of the glove instead of just sliding into the glove, which typically you would expect for Bobby Witt. So we'll see what they put together today and moving forward. But certainly Rave being up, Lofton being up, Biggio being down, Renfroe being DFA'd, those are positive moves in the right direction. Will they result in more runs or wins? Not necessarily to this point, but it's only been a couple of games.
Where is your concern level with Michael Lorenzen? Because this is now back-to-back games where he's really struggled. This one in particular, I mean, he was getting shelled. I know it's easy.
Hit hard.
I know it's easy to say, but I actually thought some of the ones that were hit were decent pitches. They weren't all good pitches, by the way, but that slider low and away, the Reds kept taking it to the opposite field. Like, he kept hitting that low and away where it was barely a strike right in the corner. 4 times, and there was 4 hits off that thing.
And they were hit hard, though. Yeah, I mean, it was like, that seems like a good pitch. Well, if they're barreling it up and hitting line drives, is it that good of a pitch?
Yeah, and then he threw that sinker high and in to Tyler Stevenson, which wasn't even a strike. It was off the plate.
That, to me,
2-run home run. And
Dylan, you would know better than I, but that sinker to Tyler Stevenson, because he was so mad at himself for walking the previous batter, that sinker felt like, I'm throwing a bleeping strike here. I'm not going to fall behind 1-0. I'm throwing a strike. And so if I have to take a little bit off this sinker to throw it a little bit slower to make sure that I get it in the strike zone, I'm doing that. And Stevenson just turned on it.
Yep.
It looked like a batting practice fastball almost. I'm throwing a get me over pitch so I can get up 0-1, or if he puts it in play, he puts it in play, or fouls it off, or takes the pitch because I just walked the previous guy. Is he going to ambush me on the first pitch? Because I've had trouble with control today. Yeah, he did. It felt like I'm pissed, I'm mad, I'm not walking this guy, I'm throwing a strike no matter what here. And Stevenson made a pay. Like, I think that was
trending the wrong direction. Noah Cameron is continuously doing what Noah Cameron has done. I don't know how much longer before you'd make that switch. And again, that's not the issue. The hitting's the issue. But again, just any minor details to try and get you there, because we keep talking hitting, but eventually maybe you just have to keep winning 3-1, because that's what Noah Cameron's doing, giving up 1 run or fewer in all 3 of his starts. Don't know your thoughts here. If Noah Cameron's a guy sent down, or Lorenzen moves to the bullpen, or
I think it would be a Lorenzen moving to the bullpen thing, or they would seriously consider what you've talked about, which I don't think they're going to do.
Yeah.
But seriously consider a 6-man rotation if that's something that even is part of a discussion in any way, shape, or form. They may go that route, but then you start throwing guys off there. What we've talked about last week and things like that. But it is 3 games in a row where against Houston he gives up 4 runs in the 7 1/3, so he goes into the 8.
That was actually good. I thought it was a good start. Bad line, good start.
Yeah, for the right, because that was late in that situation. The next start, not pitch efficient, going 4 innings, and then last night, I had a feeling that thing was done early because he did not look comfortable on the mound. He did not look like he had it, and with a bullpen game today, that was a game going in where I think Lorenzen has to be aware that I'm going to wear this game today.
Yeah.
If I don't have it, I got to be out here and just wear it, because whoever is starting before the bullpen game, you got to give them innings. And so if everybody was fresh and there wasn't a bullpen game today / looking at last night for tomorrow, I think Lorenzen might have been pulled in like the 3rd inning.
Agreed.
It might have been early of like, all right, we're getting him out of here. He's given up 3 runs. And
it feels lucky it's only 3 runs.
He's getting hit hard. He's already been through the rotation twice. The Royals were coming up to bat in the bottom of the 3rd, I think it was, because they went 3 up, 3 down twice. So in the bottom of the 3rd, their number 7 hitter, the Royals, was taking his first at bat, and the entire Reds lineup had 2 different at bats. They had batted around twice by the time the Royals' 7th hitter got up to the plate. So I think there's a chance that in the 3rd inning he might have been pulled.
Sure.
Let's bring in Lynch. You had a righty there. Let's bring in Lynch, who's a lefty now, and go the rest, go 2, 3, 4 innings or whatever, and see what you have to keep this thing within 3, 4 runs. But Lynch is starting today with a bullpen game. You got to wear that. So there was a little bit of the white flag for the bigger picture yesterday, whereas if that was game 1 of a series, Lorenzen wouldn't be starting. But if it had to be something like that, he would have been pulled earlier in the game. So that was unfortunate that it was a day that he didn't have it and wasn't pitch efficient. But eventually, does get through 5 innings. So enough. And you throw some guys that you don't plan to use for extended periods today.
Yeah.
Hopefully Lynch can give you 3, maybe 4 innings. We'll see what he can do. But it is kind of interesting, that 2018 draft. You've got Lynch going up against Singer today. Both of those guys, drafted in 2018. You've got Bubic, who threw a gem the other day. And that 2019 draft will be, playing behind Lynch. You'll have 4 players from that 2019 draft, which is pretty awesome. We're 2019 draft with Bobby, with Rave and Vinny and Massey in that 2019 draft. 2018 draft should throw in the fact that Isbell was in the So you'll have Lynch, Singer, and Isbell in this game tonight from 2018, and then Bobby, Vinny, Massey, and Rave from 2019. So you're looking at 7 players from the 2018 and 19 draft that are playing in tonight's game for the Royals and the Reds.
Are you concerned with Bobby Witt Jr. at all offensively? And
I think he'll be fine.
I know we talk about this. It's the Mike Sweeney situation where it's everyone else has not been doing great, but anytime he struggles, it's Mike Sweeney's fault. No, he's allowed to have a slump.
Yeah.
But Bobby went from 320, now he's down to 293.
Yeah.
The power doesn't seem to be quite where I think we expect it to be. Stolen base numbers are up, but he's also getting caught stealing at a clip that I don't think you love. It's not horrible, but for, again, the fastest man in baseball, that shouldn't even be that close. Again, not Bobby's fault. Not at all. Salvador Perez grounding into a double play after India does a great job going first to third. I mean, doing a great job going first to third, and then you do the one thing you can't do in that situation.
Dude, I looked over at my son. I was like, I think this is going to be a double play. Here comes a double play. Said I'll take a strikeout right now because a strikeout means that somebody else gets a chance to drive the runs home. Michael Garcia, we'll see what he can do. Just not a double play. And then he hit it up the middle, and it's so great because you don't know where the defenders are in this in today's day and age in baseball. And so hitting it up the middle, I'm like, is that a hit? Is that a hit? Oh no, it's right to where they had somebody sitting right behind second base. Because it would be really difficult, like it is impossible apparently, to let the viewers know where the defenders are at every at-bat. It is just impossible. There's no possible way. There's no technology available to put little dots around the diamond. We've got the diamond where we've got these little squares, and we can fill in these squares where guys are on base, but we couldn't put little dots where the defenders are lined up. Or right before an at-bat, take the camera angle from behind home plate to give the people an idea of where the defenders are, because we have been trained our entire life of watching baseball in a way that the ball hit up the middle is a hit.
One, it was weak, the hit, and two, the thing I saw, which I thought was even a little more frustrating. Maybe he tried going oppo and it just ended up going to the middle, which is a legit possibility as well.
Well, that's opposite field for Salvi.
They had, I believe, first base was holding on the guy on first. The
higher they did show. Now I will say,
you know what I'm talking about, because
as while I'm being a smartass here, I do remember them showing them holding first base. You're right.
And
that particular at bat, I do retract my annoyance, but the overall annoyance still stands.
Agreed, because I remember seeing that and going, that is the entire right infield from first to second base wide open. And so maybe Salvador Perez did try going oppo, but he had a little weak.
It was sort of an inside-out swing to a degree.
And so I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here, and he hit the home run, which is great when you're down 6-0. I don't know, man. It just, like, I'm not trying to blame Bobby, but Bobby's been struggling, and Salvador Perez has been really inefficient, especially with these runners in the scoring position. India has not been what we thought he was going to be. The defense has been way, way worse, but the offense has not been quite what was expected. I mean, 227. I get the on base is 325. That's better than last year. He's also slugging 298.
Well, it's not better than last year.
No, not for him. I'm saying better than
the leadoff hitter
than last year.
I was gonna say 325 is his career low right now.
No, it's brutal. I mean, he has been brutal, and it's brutal even more so because Vinny is finally starting to hit.
Yeah,
Vinny is.
Vinny's turning it on.
He was at, what was he at? Now he's at 258, and he's starting to get, even his misses now was on the warning track.
Oh my God, I thought he got it.
But
the wind's blowing in, and he hit that thing high. Like you're going to have to crush that thing to hit it that high to get it out with the wind blowing in from right field. I mean, it's just unfortunate because on a day where the wind is blowing the different direction or it's 100 degrees, that thing's in the bullpen.
But there must be some rule or regulation I don't know about that only two Royals can hit at the same time.
No, there is. It's a rule.
Now it's Vinny and Michael.
Yeah, no, it's a rule.
Because you can only have two guys.
It's a dumb rule, but they passed it this offseason.
It was Bobby and Michael, and then it was Salvi involved for a little bit, and then it was, okay, now Bobby's going to, Bobby, come on now. Vinny's starting to get hot. You got to slump. You got to slump, Bob.
They need a slump buster is what they need. They need a few of them. They need a few slump busters. But, yeah, Vinny has been on an absolute tear, and if you go back to the last game of April through all of May, you want to take a guess at what Vinny's batting? That's 25 games, 108 plate appearances.
310.
Not a bad guess. Not a bad guess. Would you believe me if I told you 346?
Yeah, I would.
370 on base slugging, 519. He's got an 890 OPS in the last 25 games. That's the entire month of May and the last game of April. That's what he's done. And he's hit 5 home runs, which would pace out to 32 over the course of a season. Now, he's not walking, but not walking is not a big of an issue. Not walking when he was batting 200, issue.
Yes.
Not walking when he's batting 350, not an issue.
And slugging, getting an extra base hit.
Yes, and slugging 520.
Yeah.
All right. Not walking, not an issue for your number 3 hitter that's batting 350 because he's getting on base at 370.
Yes.
Okay, fine. He's not walking that much. He's getting on base at 370. Great. If Jonathan was not walking, but on base at 370, nobody would complain. Like, yeah, but his on-base percentage is 370. He's not really walking. Well, he's batting 370. He doesn't take a walk all year. He's batting 370.
It's Kyle Isbell.
Right.
Kyle Isbell's batting 270, on base 275. You'll take it because he's batting 270.
Yeah, I will. Whatever Kyle Isbell is doing this year, sign me up for the next 4 years of Kyle Isbell doing that. If that's, I mean, he only has 2 years after this year left with the Royals, but you get the point. If that's the case, because Kyle Isbell, because the offense has been so bad, Kyle Isbell quietly has had a really good season that is not being appreciated because the offense has been so bad. That Isbell has actually had having what seems like a career year right now for him, and playing center field. Pretty damn good, typically, center field for Kyle Isbell. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. A third of the season is done. We'll assess where they are right now. 3 games over 500, 6 games behind the Tigers. To me, that is more about the Tigers than the Royals being 6 games out. I did not expect the best record in the American League to be from the American League Central, but so it goes. What does the team look like? What do we feel like the last 66% or so? And then we'll talk about Babe Ruth. I mean, Jack Caglione as well, with his 5 home runs in 4 games for Jack. And Steven, Bethany, on their way to Omaha right now. Maybe they've arrived by now. I'm not sure. On their way to Omaha because Jack Caglione will be talking this afternoon. His press conference, the first game there in Omaha with AAA. Hey, we've said he's closer to the Royals now. Now he's literally, geographically closer to the Royals now. It's only 2. Like, he was a couple of spots away. He was AA to AAA. Now he's like less than 3 hours, depending on how fast you go. I mean, how fast you want to get there, that's 3 hours away. I'll get there in 1:10. Ask Steven. I'll get you there on time. All right? You may be, like the kid, not the kid, but, Bowler and Kingpin in the back, just face frozen. But I'm going to get you there. How fast can Jack get to Kansas City? Let me drive him here. Well, I think they would probably want him to be safe, which is perfectly fine.
4 hours. Drive slow if you have to.
Well, I'm going to get him here safe. Look at the driving record. It's safe. Just know how to manipulate the turns and everything. You got to take those corners. You know what I mean?
Drifting.
There's no drifting, okay? It's 4-wheel drive in the rain. All right, let's do this. Jack Caglione, we'll talk about Babe Ruth of AAA. And let's put it into perspective what's going on right now for Jack. We'll do that on the other side. Governor Kehoe calling a special session for the stadium bill for the Chiefs and the Royals. We'll talk about that. And Kansas State landing a big fish in the college basketball portal and spending big money this offseason. Hey, Coleman Hawkins, you made $2 million? What if they spent $5 million on 2 players combined? But Coleman Hawkins was 2. K-State's got 2 different players on their roster right now that can make $2.5 million. And Andres Kostic and now PJ Haggerty. We'll talk about that as well. Les Norman coming up at noon. Matt Verderame, 11 o'clock. Todd Lebo, 1 o'clock. Fact or Fiction, more Zone next. Shall we talk? You know what? We can go through the third of the season assessment. Maybe we do that with Les Norman coming up at noon, or maybe we do that at 11 o'clock or 11:30. We'll talk with Matt Verderam in the 11 o'clock hour. But you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about Babe Ruth. I don't know.
Jacked up!
Gibson, maybe?
You want to talk a little George Herman, huh?
Let's do it, man. George, and he knew me. Movie. You knew Babe Ruth? George, and he knew me.
Sandlot.
Yeah, he nailed it. Got it right. Nice job. High and inside. Poof, lights went out. Felt so bad, man, because he was going to be, like, it's a true story, by the way. People don't realize that. The Sandlot's a true story. You don't remember Benny the Jet stealing third with no bleeping reason to steal third? I did a whole breakdown of that one segment as to how absurd it is that Benny the Jet stole third, because he came in to pinch run.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really start to break it down as to why you would pinch run in that situation, what you would need for a guy at third to pinch run. So maybe there's less than 2 outs and you need a fly ball to score him.
Sure.
Or maybe an infield single, you need somebody fast enough to score him. Or maybe there are 2 outs, but that run means a lot. But if it's such a crucial situation that you brought in this speedster at third, how in the world would the defense not pay attention? Also, if the announcer says, I wouldn't be surprised to see some fireworks here. Why? Why wouldn't you be surprised? They're in that situation. And if you weren't surprised, then why the hell isn't the pitcher surprised?
Yeah, it's true. The pitcher should really.
It's an absurd situation, okay? It bothers me about the whole movie. For Benny the Jet stealing home on that. Regardless, it's a true story. And so he knew George. Jack Caglianone's having a press conference today because I believe everybody in a 5-state area has requested an interview with Jack Caglianone. Even if you're not in the media, you just called up the Storm Chasers and were like, hey, can I request an interview with Jack Caglianone? I like him. You know, I got his baseball card, so I was just going to interview him real quick. And they decided they were going to have a press conference. And so everybody can be there, including our own Stephen St. John and Bethany Bowman. That'll be up there in Omaha today. And then covering the game tonight with Jack's first game there in Omaha for the Storm Chasers while homering in 4 straight games. 5 home runs overall in these 4 straight games. The problem is, like, I worry about his ability because he's got 9 hits and they're all home runs and singles. Like, how about a double or a triple? You know what I mean?
Diversify your portfolio.
Right. Home runs are fascist. You know what I mean? Hit some doubles or triples. They're more democratic. You know, get other people involved. You know what I mean? That's not the real quote. It's more strikeouts instead of ground balls, but you get the point. Here's Jack Caglianone. Let's hear what it sounded like. Shall we hear what it sounded like in these 4 home runs? Because on Thursday, so Friday morning, we heard what it sounded like on Thursday night, and we played that. What did it sound like Friday night with his what would be second home run of his AAA career?
And the 2-0. Caglianone sends a high drive deep down the right field line. If it's fair, it's gone. It is fair. It is gone. That was absolutely blasted to right field. Down and in. He hits it 431 feet down the right field line. 111 miles an hour off the bat. And 3 batters into this ball game. The Omaha Storm Chasers have a 3-0 lead. Cags homers for the 2nd straight night.
111.6, Dylan. I believe that ball, what happened to it, Sterling?
Jacked up!
That ball got jacked up. That ball got jacked up. 111.6 off the bat against Touki Toussaint.
Also a guy who's played in the majors, by the way.
39 games started in the majors for Touki. 282 innings pitched he's thrown in Major League Baseball. By the way, Thursday night he hit the home run off Dakota Hudson, who has 132 games in Major League Baseball, 97 starts, and 559 innings pitched. So back-to-back games, he's hit a home run off guys who have combined 5, 7, 838 innings pitched between the two combined in Major League Baseball. So what happened on, let's go to Saturday, shall we? Saturday's home run. This is now 3 straight games with a home run for Jack.
He is a special talent.
Yeah, he is.
Caglianone puts a charge into one deep to right. And Jack Caglianone, for the 3rd time this week, has homered. He just continues to be on a tear in his first series at the AAA level. And the young kids in this series continue to shine. That includes Jack Caglione. That is his 50th run batted in of the season.
That ball was hit 107 miles an hour, and I'm pretty sure it was also
Jacked up.
We head to Sunday. While he's homered in 3 straight games, we head to Sunday, and he didn't waste a whole lot of time on Sunday with getting a hold of this one. Home run number 4 for Jack Caglione.
And Peralta deals. High fly ball.
Oh.
Absolutely crushed to
Sound
right
is-
field. Jack Caglione is inevitable. His 4th straight game with a home run for the Storm Chasers. And the Omaha Storm Chasers have a 1-0 lead in the top of the first inning. How about 459 feet to right field? My word.
I mean,
Did you hear the crowd go, oh? It
you-
wasn't like a Rex Hudler like,
dude,
ooh.
No. Dylan, can we play that? Like, look, I'm telling you, Heartland Men's Health will help. Okay. But if you do have some issues, this could also help.
High fly ball.
That ball was it. That exploded. Like, that sound. Dude. It just, like, immediately.
Is that
It's a firecracker.
is that the greatest sound in sports?
It's one of the best. Also, a wet net swish.
Yes.
Yes.
That was like the next sound
Oh.
I was going to. But
When
yeah.
you, I like when you hit the swish, but it also sometimes just barely touches the back rim, and it makes that little metallic, very satisfying. If you play, I feel like you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
A putt dropping in the cup.
Ooh, I was gonna suggest
Or-
like a sweet, perfect drive, like the sound a drive makes, and then the sound of the crowd behind you. Oh, the
Or a
clap.
stinger. Iron stinger's tasty too, but I still think that the Cags home run sound might take the cake.
That is just good night, man. It's to me, there's 2 sounds. It's that, and it's the wet net swish. Not just from like 2 feet. Like, it's got to be from distance, and it's got to be a splash.
Yeah.
Splash. Splash one home. Mike Kelly on the Tiger Radio Network. Let's head to Sunday later in the game. How about the 10th inning, shall we? And, oh, by the way, I should mention Saturday, he hit the home run off Andrew Vasquez, who's thrown 63 innings in Major League Baseball. That 459-foot crushed ball at 109 off the bat was off Sammy Peralta with 35 innings in Major League Baseball. Here's Sunday later on in the game.
Caglione flies this to right on a laser. Going back is Cavadas, and it's gone. He's homered for a 5th time this week. The #1 prospect in the Royals organization has put on a show.
Sounds
here
like
at
the
the
Niners
ballpark at
play-by-play
America
guy.
First Square.
That rings a
2
bell to
homers on the afternoon.
I couldn't find the Storm Chasers announcing on the that last home run. That was 107.6 off the bat. It was only 364. So, like,
I'd
do we count
hate to see that in the majors right now. I'd hate to see Jack
364 down the
Caglione.
right field line?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
does that even count? Does that count as a home run? Is that
Counts
like
for Aaron Judge.
Is that like is that a half a home run? If it's only like 364, if it doesn't go 400 feet, does it count as a home run for Jack? Now, Saturday's home run was not measured in StatCast. It was measured EV at 107 off the bat, but for some reason going, I guess, over the beam or wherever it landed, it messed up the measurement.
It's too far.
Yeah. The ball's hit it's too high. It's too hard. What does it even mean too hard? What does it even mean? It's Major League 2, I believe. So his home runs starting Thursday night to yesterday, 113.6, 111.6, 107, 108.6, 107.6 off the bat. 410, 441, question mark, 459, 364. That he pulled, as the guy said, it was a laser down the right field line. It was 364, and I bet the launch angle was probably like 2. Like, I don't know what the launch angle was, man, but it was a freaking laser. And that was off Buck Farmer,
Oh, wow, yeah.
who has thrown 513 innings in Major League Baseball. He has played 417 games, made 417 appearances in Major League Baseball, 22 starts and 6 saves. My name is Buck, and I'm here to give up home runs to Jack. That's the saying that they use in Kill Bill.
So I understand. These are not major leaguers who have clearly been currently on a major league roster. They're trying to get their way back.
Mm-hmm.
But these are also guys who have, yes, pitched in the majors and understand that when they face Jack, there is something extra for those pitchers because they all know that this is one of the top prospects in baseball. So it's not like when Jack comes up, in my opinion, it's another guy. I think these pitchers understand what they're doing because they understand if they get Jack out, it maybe makes their manager understand, okay, if he can
You
get
just
this
got to
guy,
keep Jack off the base pads.
you got to keep Jack off. 'Cause
The base pads.
Right now, because Jack is on.
He's totally on right now.
His name is very hard to say sometimes
While
in a normal sentence.
these guys are not currently in Major League Baseball, this is what I feel like people, some, not everybody, I don't want to throw everybody into the same basket. But oftentimes when we talk about a guy in the minors and who they're hitting baseballs off of, and then we think about them in the majors, how many people immediately picture like, well, yeah, but when he's in the majors, dude, he's going to be facing guys like Skubal and Fried. Yeah, he might face those guys from time to time. But I feel like the immediate thought that goes into people's minds, and sometimes I've been guilty of this too, of thinking, yeah, but what happens when he faces a major league pitcher? Okay, like Brady Singer and his 5 ERA, who also had to take a trip to the minor leagues, a couple years ago because he wasn't performing well at the big league level. Like, he's not facing Skubal every night. In fact, the Royals have faced a number of 4A pitchers this year. They're just not doing anything against him. At least Jack is smashing 4A pitching. Like, he's doing something against 4A pitching. He's hitting it 430 feet, 459, 441, 410. There's 64. Like, he's mashing 4A pitching. Every single one of those guys has pitched in Major League Baseball. You don't face Skubal every single night. You don't face the other team's ace every single night. And
Tell
how
the
many
Royals hitters that.
Well, that's true. But how many, like, quote unquote aces are out there? How many quote aces are out there? Not many. Even the Royals ace this year is struggling. He's striking a bunch of dudes out, but he's also not pitching the way that you would hope a quote unquote ace would pitch. Now, pitching is not the issue for the Royals. We know that. We've discussed it. We've talked about it ad nauseum. It's been discussed, debated. There's no reason to, go back over the narrative. It's all stipulated. It's been offensive issues for this team. But Jack Caglione, if he were with the big league club, is not facing Skubal every single night. He's not facing Valdez and Hunter Brown every single night. He's not going up against Pablo Lopez every single night. Like, those aren't the pitchers that he's facing every single night. He's facing guys that, Nick Martinez is a good pitcher. He shouldn't be Cy Young against the Royals. He shouldn't have 50 pitches through 6 innings. That's an embarrassment. Sorry. It's an embarrassment that Nick Martinez would have 53 pitches entering the 6th inning. It's embarrassing.
I say drug test him, but not for PEDs, because he does not stop moving the entire time. I was he needs a drug test.
It is. Maybe that's what makes him tough to see. He's got different variations of his quote unquote windup, because it's not really a windup, but there's different variations and leg kicks and stuff, so it throws some hitters off and the timing and all that stuff. But these guys have all pitched a lot of games in baseball. I shouldn't say all of them. 1, 2, 3 of the 5 have thrown a lot of games in Major League Baseball. 132 games, 89 games, 417 games. Like, these are not the AA pitchers that have never tasted the third deck. These guys have been at the third deck. They've been at games where that's been there. And now they're back in AAA. So there is something to be said for that as well. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. I do want to continue talking about Jack Caglione, because why not? J.J. Piccolo weighed in on Sunday on Jack Caglione before hitting 2 home runs on Sunday. So when he had only homered in 3 consecutive games. Not 4 consecutive games with 5 total home runs. We'll hear what J.J. Piccolo had to say about Jack Caglione in his comments from Sunday before the Royals salvaged the game, the series, one game of the series against the Twins on that Sunday, scoring all of 2 runs. They scored as many runs as Jack Caglione had home runs on Sunday in Salt Lake City for the Royals in Kansas City. More Zone coming up next. We were discussing rookie eligibility, the PPI, the draft pick that the Royals get this year, the number 28 pick in the draft this year that they get for Bobby Witt, opening the big league season in 2022, breaking camp with the big league club, and then finishing top 3 in MVP. So the Royals get the 28th pick in the draft, so it would be nice if you could get that for Jack Caglione. If he could keep his rookie status and then break camp next year with the Royals, he could either win Rookie of the Year or in 3 years finish in the top 3 of MVP, and you would get that extra draft pick. That's just that. There's no reason for that. That can't be part of the conversation right now.
Agreed.
Because the date on that would be August 16th. That's a little less than 3 months from now. That is 68 more games in AAA that he would play.
And it's only somehow the Royals scored 75 runs over that stretch. Weird.
There is zero chance that Jack Caglione should spend 68 more games in AAA. He's played 5 already, right? Or no, he's played
6.
Yeah, 6. He's played 6 games already. So that would put him at 74. Bobby Witt played 63 games at AAA, but that is only because 2021 was the first year that they changed the September call-ups from 40 down to 28. Bobby Witt was OPSing like 970 entering September, but you went from 26 to 28. And the traditional AAA season ended on Labor Day. In 2021, because of the late start, it went into October. So he had many more games to still play in AAA, and it wasn't your traditional 40-man roster. So Dayton and JJ announced that they had decided to leave Bobby where he was in AAA, to finish out the season with AAA, continue with that team, playoffs, whatever it was that was going on. The Royals were not doing that in 2021. Give them more seasoning. We'll see you next year.
I think the difference, too, was defensively, Bobby Witt Jr. at shortstop needed a little bit of work.
Good call.
Which we saw even his rookie year in the majors, right?
Yeah.
He was going to be
brutal.
a third baseman.
Yeah.
And Cags, well, yes, his defense, especially in the outfield, could use a lot of work.
We think. I don't know. I haven't seen him play.
But right field's a lot less premium defensively than shortstop, which is your focal point traditionally of your defense, right?
Yeah.
So I
think
think there's a little difference there.
But I think if the September call-ups were traditional, let's say they waited another year, because it's still 28. They're not going back to 40.
Sure.
Let's say the move from 40 to 28 happened in 2022. I think Bobby probably gets a September call-up. And then we'll see what his numbers were in AAA at that time, whatever. But he ends up playing 63 games in AAA before breaking camp the next year with the Royals. There's no reason for Jack Caglione and the Royals to worry about a rookie status at all. Because to keep rookie status, he would need 130 at-bats or fewer. For a guy that does not walk a lot, the at-bats are crucial in difference of plate appearances. If it was plate appearances, it wouldn't matter. But Major League Baseball uses at-bats for rookie status, 130. So I looked at a guy who doesn't walk. Salvi, 34 games into the season, had 129 at-bats. So you're looking at 34 games is what Jack essentially could play to keep rookie status. It's not worth it for a team trying to make the playoffs this year. If he's ready, he's ready. WHB coming up an hour from now. We'll talk with Les Norman, breaking the norm. Talk some Royals baseball with Les. We'll talk some college basketball, some college athletics overall coming up today as well. Todd Lebo will join us. Play some Fact or Fiction with Todd Lebo as well.
Fact.
Let's hear from J.J. Piccolo. Sunday, he met with the media after Jack Caglione had homered in 3 straight games, because what a feat. Definitely not going to homer in 4 straight games. So J.J. meeting with the media before the Royals game on Sunday, as Jack Caglione would homer in his 4th straight game, homer number 4 and 5, but this was after just a measly 3. But here's J.J. Piccolo talking about Jack Caglione and their assessment right now, and just a general observation of where he's at, and certainly the thought process from the organization.
To hit 5 in a week is a pretty good accomplishment. How far he hits them, how hard he hits them, that's not too surprising. That's been his track record for a number of years. So I'm just glad that he got off to a good start. He did a great job. And then he went out and, he really couldn't do any better. So it's good to see. The hardest part about this for us is we're trying to do what's best for the player. I mean, that's ultimately what this is. You want the player to be as prepared as he can when he comes to the major leagues. It's not fair to any player, whether it's Jack Caglione or whoever, when a team may be scuffling offensively, to try to put it on him and hope he's going to come save the day. The best way to break any player into the major leagues is to try to bring him up when the team's hot, offensively scoring some runs. That's not why he's not coming up right now. We just want him to face more advanced pitching in AAA, see how they game plan for him, how he adapts and makes adjustments, not just game to game, but at bat to at bat. It'll take, I don't want to put a timetable on it, but we want to see it for a little bit. I mean, this first week was great, but we certainly weren't saying when he went to AAA, have a good first week and bring him to Kansas City. AA, they may be trying to pitch him a certain way. The execution's just different. AAA, the pitchers are more advanced, and they'll be able to hit their spots more often than a AA pitcher, for the most part. So, watching how they pitch him night to night, one team to the next. He went through it a little bit with Tulsa. First time he faced Tulsa, they pitched him one way. The next time they pitched him differently. So he learned something from that. But that's certainly what's going to happen here. Whatever weakness there might be, Major League pitchers are going to game plan for it and try to exploit it.
So like I said, that was J.J. Piccolo yesterday before game number 1 against the Reds, not Sunday. Yes, he had already hit the 5 home runs. My bad. I thought that was Sunday for some reason. So either way, it's J.J. Piccolo talking about Jack Caglione, saying that you don't want to call up somebody and have him think that he's going to save the day. You'd like to have the team playing well, the offense playing well. Then he immediately said, that's not why he's not coming up. That's not part of the decision. We want to see him continue to progress a little bit more time. I'm not going to put a timetable on it, but we want to, see how pitchers adjust to him, how he adjusts to different pitchers, especially those that have major league experience. Okay. So we'll see. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess not hard part, because there's a lot of guys still not hitting. There's not really an answer with Renfroe gone, Biggio down in AAA now. You just called up Lofton and Rave. You have Mark Canha, I guess, technically, but Canha's been okay, and he's a right-handed bat off the bench. The only other name is maybe Michael Massey. Mm-hmm. Right, as far as if we're thinking the big league club right now,
and that might be for Devaney if they were to move down.
And that might be Devaney, which I've been screaming from the top of the roofs for the past 2 weeks.
It's odd that you walk up to the roof after the show and start screaming Devaney.
Multiple roofs. I've climbed mine. I get a ladder. My wife's like, "Finally, you're cleaning the roof off. You're taking the leaves out." No. Devaney. Where art thou, Devaney? So, but
Drago.
But I do think there is something to who's the option, because right now Massey might beat Devaney.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Mark Canha, who's been again okay as your right-handed bench bat? Again,
sure.
Okay is
sure.
I'm with you.
Sure. Or Lofton.
Lofton often. Both guys just got called up. I doubt you send them back.
I don't think Jack's coming up anytime soon. I don't think Jack's coming up like in the next week or something.
No.
I'd be fine if he were, but
I agree. I
don't think that's the case.
I'm just throwing that out there because you're not going to have all of a sudden, that much roster turnover. That's a lot to have all at once.
That's also the least of my concerns with Jack Caglione coming up. Like, who's the odd man out? I don't know. I don't care, because whoever the odd man out is not going to offer the impact that Jack Caglione is offering.
Don't disagree, but I'm trying to think of it from their side, from Piccolo's side.
Here's my point about you want to make sure the offense is doing well before you bring the guy up, or the team playing well before you bring the guy up, because you don't want to kill the confidence or however he views himself to be the savior of the offense, to be the guy that's coming in to wear the cape to save the offense. And as he said, you don't want him to, quote, think he's going to save the day. Then he went and said, that's not why he's not being called up right now. And then offering other reasons. But my issue with that is, can't that be can't that be an easy conversation with the player? That, hey, you're not going up to the big leagues. We're not bringing you up here to be the savior. Bobby Witt is on this team. Vinny's batting .350 in the month of May. All right, you're coming up to join the team, just as John Rave joined the team, just as Nick Lofton joined the team. There's going to be a lot more hoopla around you because you were a top pick and you're hitting baseballs 470 feet. So there's going to be a lot more interest in you, as there is with your press conference that you had your first game in Omaha. Okay, looking back when we're in the future or whatever. It doesn't matter what the fans think. Well, the fans are going to view him as the savior. So, what does it matter if the fans view him as the savior? Why would that impact what the Royals do? Because if they want to listen to the fans, then they would have DFA'd Renfroe a month ago. Yeah. But they didn't. Why didn't they listen to the fans? Renfroe was the problem. He was the whipping boy. Renfroe was the issue. Renfroe. DFA him, cut him, waive him. DFA him, cut him, waive him. I don't care. Get him off the team. And you know what they did? They didn't listen to what the fans' opinions were on Hunter Renfroe. They kept him on the team and they kept playing him until eventually they felt like Rave was ready to come up and Nick Lofton, whatever, and they finally DFA Hunter Renfroe. But it wasn't that the fans were going, Renfroe's the problem, DFA him. Oh my God, we don't want Renfroe thinking he's the problem, so we must DFA him then. That didn't happen. Well, Jack Caglione needs to break camp with the big league club. He's playing so well, he doesn't need more seasoning in the minors. Wyatt Langford broke camp with the big league club last year for the Rangers. Why can't Jack Caglione? Well, they didn't listen to the fans then in saying their opinion was Jack Caglione. MJ Melendez should not be playing on this team this year. How long did it take them before they realized that? MJ Melendez.
47 at-bats.
Send him down. He's done. He's now changing his stance again. He's lost. Send him down. They finally did. You need to spend big money this offseason in the outfield. Well, they tried, but they didn't accomplish it. So when they come away from the offseason and when they spent that money on Carlos Estevez, what was the reaction? So you're just not going to get an outfield bat? So you're not going to bring anybody? You wouldn't go the extra year on Santander? Well, how important is it for you to get an outfield bat? You couldn't get Jurickson and Profar? Looking back now, thank God they didn't. But the fans wanted them to. The fans viewed those guys as difference makers on the team. So why didn't they listen to the fans then? So if this is all about, well, the fans are going to think he's the savior, well, then start listening to the fans when they say maybe Irsay should pitch more often in bigger games, like earlier in the season, like against the Red Sox or the Guardians or whoever, that maybe Irsay should come out in the 7th against the middle of the order. Listen to the fans then. Maybe Salvi shouldn't be batting 4th right now on this team. I know you don't have a number 4 hitter. I know that your true number 4 hitter is in Omaha right now. But in the meantime, your 400 hitter should not be OPSing 600. But you don't have anybody else. So what are you going to do? I'm not sure. Hey, Jonathan India traditionally has been a great leadoff hitter. And last year, Michael Garcia was not a good leadoff hitter. But right now, maybe Garcia should be the leadoff hitter, and you slide Jonathan India down because one guy's getting on base at a higher clip and hitting the ball, and also offers speed on the base paths ahead of Bobby Witt, offers a stolen base ability, so that pitcher also has to worry about Michael Garcia on first while pitching to Bobby Witt. India ain't going anywhere. He barely got first to third yesterday. Are they listening to the fans on how the lineup should be? Why would you ever play Michael Massey in left field and India at second base? That is absurd. It's dumb. It is asinine. That is, honestly, that is indefensible. To play Massey in left field and India at second base is just being different for different sake. You have an awesome second baseman that you're putting in left field, and you have a bad defender anywhere you play him in Jonathan India, a DH, that you're putting at second base. You are bad at two positions as opposed to being bad at one and really good at the other. It is indefensible. But they didn't listen to the fans when they put Massey in left field and India at second. So why in the hell would it be any part of, well, we don't want him to come up and think he has to be the savior? Then tell him he's not. What is he, a child? Is he 5 years old? Is it his fault that things are happening?
He's pretty young.
He's 22. Jack, you're not the savior. Just go play ball. Oh, gee, I don't know. The fans are thinking I'm the savior, so I guess I'm going to be the savior now. No, you're not the savior, Jack. Just go play ball. Well, I don't know. This guy over there in section 315 said I was the savior and it was all up to me, so I guess now I'm the savior.
And also, like, I was wondering this yesterday, and I wonder what your take is. Why are we so negative on the fact that maybe we look at it that way, but maybe he can look at it as, hey, if you struggle up here, you're not going to be the only one struggling. It's not exactly easy. And also,
That's a great point.
All of us are doing it. You
Love
know,
it.
every single player on the team's already struggling, so you're really not the savior.
Yeah.
You're kind of just up here doing what we're all doing.
Yeah, if you come up and you don't perform right away, are you looking at it and saying, I can't make it at the big leagues? Or you're saying, well, you know, India's struggling.
Right.
Bobby's struggling. Salvi is struggling.
Yeah.
Michael Massey, you know, OPS'd at, 760 last year. He's got warning track power this year. He's hitting fly balls. He's hitting cans of corn more than he's hitting line drives.
And he's also going to watch those guys figure out how to get out of a slump. It's also something he can learn from and see veterans do. Hey, this guy's struggling. How did Bobby Witt or how did Salvi or how did Vinny or how did all these players figure out a way to get out of a slump? And I can take that to maybe in the future when I'm having issues or something going wrong.
Why did they break camp with Bobby in 2022? Because if memory serves, I remember opening day with everybody going, it's different this year with the shortstop and Bobby Witt. Or third base. He started at third base in opening day because he made that great play down the line that threw the guy out at home and had the game-winning double. Bobby's the savior. Coming out of that game, wasn't that the view? It's different now. Bobby's here. Bobby's here. 100 lost seasons. Bobby's here. Why didn't they wait till they were winning games in 2022 to bring Bobby up? You didn't want Bobby thinking he was the savior, right? Or maybe Bobby's just freaking good enough that it doesn't matter what somebody thinks about him. He's just going to go play ball.
Some people are built different, and some people want that. Some people want to be the savior and want it all the pressure on them.
I don't know, a guy that's played in College World Series and led his team to that and has been the two-way guy. He's been on the mound, has been talked about for a number of years as a can't-miss guy, high draft pick, slid to number 6 for whatever reason, mashing in the minor leagues. I don't know, maybe that guy gets up to the big leagues and doesn't just melt when he gets up there. Maybe he just gets up there and plays ball like he's done his entire
Seems
life.
like he's got an axe to grind. You know?
I mean,
maybe the fact that he slipped to 6 is why he's overperforming and doing all this at the minor league level. I mean, it's part of it, I'm sure.
Yeah. You know, he's just a
motivation.
He's just a freaking stud.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is Adonis. Like, he's built like a freaking brick poop house. That's the saying. Go ahead.
He called the poop.
He called the bleep poop again.
John Rave, Nick Lofton,
Saviors.
1 game and 2 game.
Okay, saviors.
But I get it. It's not the same expectations as Cags. But they struggled their first couple games so far.
It's fine. I mean, Rave,
it's fine.
One game for Rave.
1 game. Has anyone sat here and been like, oh, I can't believe it? Nope. Sit him back down. Nope. Horrible. Just brutal. You know what? This is all on them. This is their fault. The Royals offense didn't score. This is their fault. Or is it because, hey, yeah, because India and Massey and Salvi and Bobby didn't get a hit. And, like, it's not on those guys. Yeah. So when Cags gets called up, you're not putting all the pressure on him. It's the guys who have been here and done nothing.
It's almost a different approach, too, because the difference in at bat being One player A or player B. Player A, John Rave, against Nick Martinez, his first at bat. Striking out on that changeup when his helmet fell off and everything, it happens. Nick Martinez was on one yesterday. You know what? Good try, Rook. Good try. If Hunter Renfroe does that, get him the hell off this team. I mean, the guy spun around and his helmet came off. Good God, Renfroe sucks. Get him off the team. John Rave does it. It's his first at bat. He's young. He's a rookie coming up. Family's there. What are you going to do, man? He'll get him next time. I'm still excited to continue to see the at-bats from John Rave because I know the at-bats that he takes, it's not going to change at the big leagues, hopefully. And it didn't change. He even laid down a bunt and it looked like he beat it out. Unfortunately, it was overturned on a replay. But if Renfroe has the exact same at-bat as John Rave in that exact situation, I promise you the view is different. It's more of Renfroe sucks, why is he on the team, rather than Rave didn't come through, but I've got confidence that he's going to come through more often than Renfroe. And okay, Jack Caglione didn't struck out in this spot with second and third and one out. I'll take my chances with Jack up there than Renfroe or MJ Melendez.
And also, everyone else was already doing that.
Right. That's going to be my view. It may not be everybody's view, but I don't think J.J. Piccolo should be running the team based on what the fans' opinions are. Because what's the saying? If you start listening to the fans, you'll start sitting with them.
Yep.
So I'm glad he clarified after that. Like, we don't want him to think he's going to save the day, but that's not why he's not being called up. We need to see more here, how pitchers adjust to him and how he adjusts to different pitchers, more seasoning, whatever different way he described that of how long with no timeline of certain sort of markers that they may be looking for. And they waited longer with Vinny Pasquantino. I don't think they're going to be as patient with Jack Caglione as they were with Vinny. I've changed my opinion on that. Watching Jack Caglione play this way with a team that is in contention this year as opposed to a team that was starting to turn things or hoping you could turn things around and head in the right direction. This is a team you are planning on making the playoffs.
Is Mondesi what scared this organization and maybe fan base to calling anyone up early like this?
I don't know. Maybe Jack shouldn't make his debut in the World Series.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying it's right to think that, but I just wonder if that's why everyone is so worried every time we have a prospect of calling him up too early.
No, people think of Jackson Kowar.
Oh, yeah.
I think people think of Jackson Kowar. But was Kowar called up too early?
No, he just
melted down on the.
He's a pitcher too.
Another chance.
Totally different position.
Like somebody texted in was like the Royals ruined Kowar by calling him up. Then, how much more did you want him to do?
When he got sent back down and called back up, and it was the same situation.
But he had like 12 starts in AAA and had like a sub-1 ERA. Like, what more did he need to do? He was a college pitcher, not a high school pitcher. College pitcher that was dominating AAA. Had been through AA, single A, high A, all of that, made the progression. They didn't skip AAA. They didn't go early Royals 2000s, Beltron AA to the big leagues. AAA, you can skip over AAA, doesn't matter. Dayton gets here and says no, AAA is part of the development process. Like, they didn't rush Jackson Kowar. He just didn't have the ability. He didn't have it between the ears. Maybe he will develop that between the ears and his stuff will play at the big leagues. But right now, that's not happening. And it wasn't going to happen if he stayed another 4 or 5 starts down in AAA. The same thing was going to happen with Jackson Kowar. So you have it or you don't. Bobby had it. So Bobby came up and, has been Bobby Witt. Much better defensively these last couple of years than he was early on. But he's been Bobby Witt since he's been with the big league club. He's continued to ascend because he's a freaking stud. And he came up as a 22-year-old, and Jack Caglione is 22. They're both 22 years old. If there was one player that was going to be less ready for the big league club, it would have been Bobby. Because Bobby played AA and AAA in 21 while playing at the alternate site in 2020 because you couldn't play minor league games. So this guy was drafted out of high school in 2019, played minimal games in 2019, alternate site in 2020, played AA and AAA in 21, broke with the big league team in 22. Jack Caglione played College World Series, single A, AA, AAA, and then joining the big league club. Who's more ready for the big leagues at 22? Who's more ready for this pressure at 22? Bobby with the high schooler and a year and change of minor league baseball? Or Jack Caglione, who played in the SEC and played in 2 different World Series, pitching and hitting in a couple different World Series?
And Bobby had to be the guy. Like, he had to be the guy.
Bobby was viewed as this is the guy now. This
Cags
is the savior.
Doesn't because you already have Bobby. And I know people might say Salvi, but Salvi didn't have a great year that year. I mean, Salvi
His
was
rookie year? Well, he wasn't viewed. He was part of the mix.
He
Are
was-
you talking about 22? Or,
22.
Sorry,
I'm talking about 22.
My bad. I
Okay?
thought you were talking about Salvi.
Because I'm talking about the difference between these guys coming up at their time. That team was horrible. That 22 team won 65 games.
And they were coming off a 100-loss season.
And there weren't expectations outside of, I hope Bobby's fun and good, right? Because that team, it was Michael A. Taylor, Kyle Isabel, when he was really bad. You had a smattering of Vinny before injury. You had Andrew Benintendi. You had Emmanuel Rivera, Nicky Lopez, Carlos Santana. Not the Carlos Santana that left. But the only guy you really had on that team was Salvi. That was it. Cags doesn't have to join a team and be the face of the franchise.
Well, and also Bobby Witt came up, and to the Royals' credit, they batted him 8th in the lineup that night. Oh, I'm sorry, they batted him 2nd. Opening day, third base, Bobby Witt batting 2nd. Like, who? I mean, it's just that, like, just explain it. Just tell Jack Caglione, just be yourself, man. Be the guy you are. You're going to be nervous. There are going to be struggles. The fans are going to give you a standing ovation when you walk up there for the first time at the K. Okay? That's going to happen. They cannot wait to see you play. But they can't wait to see the player that you are. Don't try to be the player that you're not or be the player more. Just go be Jack Caglione. You've been in these situations before. Maybe not, a major league debut in the middle of the season. But you've been at bat with runners on late in the game of a College World Series. Okay? That was the whole world to you at that time, right? This is game 104 of 162. These guys are going to win or lose. They're going to go to the clubhouse. They're going to shower. They're going to go home to their families. They're going to come back the next day and do it again. Slide down the dinosaur, check out, go home to their family. Wake up the next day, do it again. Next thing you know, you wake up, it'll be game 120. You've been there, you've done that. Bobby Witt's debut was opening day after a 100-loss season when they went and got Taylor and Santana and Benintendi, and they were going to turn things around, and they batted him freaking 2nd after Whit Merrifield. Whit Merrifield, Bobby Witt, Benintendi, Salvi, Carlos Santana.
And they weren't very good at all.
No, they were terrible that year.
Yeah.
But they won opening day, and it was like, wow, Bobby Witt batting 2nd is a difference maker.
And Bobby turned out great.
Yeah, Witt's going to be getting on base ahead of him. Bobby's going to be driving him in and running. Benintendi's going to get back to being the guy that he was, not the home run hitter, the guy that was going to bat 300, gap to gap.
Yeah.
Salvi's got the power.
Benintendi actually did that year. He hit 320 and was an all-star.
I know, yeah. And they got something out of him. Salvi's going to be hitting home runs. Santana's going to be a guy that over a month long could carry a team and over the next month could bat 100. But that's just what you're getting in Carlos Santana at first base. Dozier is Dozier. Mondesi, oh my God, if he stays healthy, if Adalberto Mondesi stays healthy, wow, how good could he be, man? Oh, he's going to be so good. Well, he's only 24 years old, so it's perfectly fine. Michael A. Taylor in center and Nicky Lopez playing a Gold Glove shortstop. Playing 2nd because Mondesi is so good. I mean, Nicky Lopez should have won the Gold Glove. Yeah, but we're going to put him at 2nd because, good God, man, if Mondesi could stay healthy, he would be amazing.
You know what's really funny from that 2022 team? 2 of the best players, Brent Rooker, Luke Weaver.
Oh, God.
Luke Weaver might be the best reliever in baseball right now, and Brent Rooker is absolutely raking for the A's. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, just like
the Royals did have 2 really good players not named Bobby or Salvi on that team.
Yeah. I do love the, when
play.
people talking about maybe trading for Ryan O'Hearn, and people are like, no, I've already seen that. I don't want Ryan O'Hearn. Okay, then you don't want Brent Rooker either. So, so if somebody struggled with the Royals and is now mashing with a different organization, you wouldn't want to trade for Brent Rooker? No, I've seen Brent Rooker. He's not good enough. They got rid of him for a reason. Okay. Nailed it.
Luke Weaver has a .73 ERA this year for the Yankees.
But I've seen Luke Weaver in a Royals uniform. No, thank you. So if the Yankees were going to trade Luke Weaver, no, thank you. I don't want Luke Weaver. I've seen him in a Royals uniform before.
That was
Plus, I don't want Luke Weaver thinking he's going to be the savior
That was
or Rooker. 913-912-4810. I really appreciate this reference so much, Texter. I talked about the PPI and the rookie eligibility for Jack Caglione and said, null and void. It's a moot point because he would have to play 68 more games in AAA. Like August 16th is the date to call him up to retain rookie eligibility for service time days or 130 at bats. And Tex says, you mean it's a moo point, like a cow's opinion. It just doesn't matter. It's moo.
I like that.
It's from Friends. It's Joey. Joey's like, it's a moo point. I'm like, did you just say it's a moo point? He's like, yeah, it's a moo point. It's like a cow's opinion. It doesn't matter. It's moo. Like, what? Tex says, if you can ruin a player by calling him up too early, then he wouldn't have been much of a player anyway.
I think there is something to calling a guy up too early, and they Zach Greinke had it. Remember Zach Greinke? I mean, Zach Greinke got called up and had to get sent back down. Gordon did. Moose did. But if you're good enough, you'll eventually figure it out. Mm-hmm. Even if you get called up, it didn't ruin their careers. It wasn't like Zach Greinke is going to be a Hall of Famer.
Well, let me give you this text because I think this is a good text to go along with what you're talking about. Text says, feels like I'm the only one trying to temper my Cags expectations. Old enough to remember what Moose, Haas, Gordon, MJ, and even Bobby did in the minors. I want him to be everything we hope he is, just not ready to be hurt again. But also, those guys came up, didn't ruin their careers. It didn't end their careers. Those guys won World Series. So, like, if you're going to have it, you're going to have it. Tex says, rumor has it Mondesi is still adding tools.
Yeah,
Man.
he's
just
hammer.
Dude, if he could just stay healthy, man. Tex says they just called up Rave. Very hypocritical. Hypocritical.
Well, it's kind of my point was, my at least my point was they just called up Rave and Loft, and eventually I don't think you're going to have a whole team of call-ups when you're in a semi-playoff hunt.
Yeah.
No, but again, who knows if Gordon or Moose, what if they would have stayed down 2 more years in the minors? Would they have then never had any struggles when they got called up? No, they probably still would have because it's different. Maybe it's good to get the struggles out of the way early because now you know what you have to work on.
And to that texter's point about you don't want to be hurt again, I get it. And I fully acknowledge that Caglione could come up and struggle and not be all that good. This is not to say that you call him up because he's going to be amazing.
Yes.
He might come up and struggle. But if he does, he would be joining in line with the other guys on the team. The difference between Jack struggling and the other guy struggling is that anybody on base...
There's hope.
Well, there's that, yes. But anybody on base, the pitcher knows if I miss one here, he could miss the barrel and still put it 390. Name another player on the Royals right now, not named Salvi, or maybe even Vinny. But if Vinny doesn't get it all, I don't think he's hitting a home run. He's got 8 of them because he's, got hot. But Vinny's not got it all and still hit home runs. He's powerful enough, right? So Salvi may be Vinny. But anybody else on the team that it's like, well, they're struggling, but they might run into one. Like, Massey's struggling. Is he going to run into one? No. He's literally ran into one. Like, literally ran into one. He's got as many home runs as Maile does this year.
Oh, you like my stat?
I love your stat, by the way. It's fantastic.
Luke Maile more home runs than Renfroe, as many as
Massey in India,
as many as Massey in India, and more or as many walks as Kyle Isbell.
Yeah.
I don't mean to take a shot at Kyle Isbell, but I just thought it was funny because
it's a fun one.
In 8 at bats,
I don't hate it.
126 at bats, the amount of walks.
I don't hate it. Is if Drew Waters is struggling and doesn't get the barrel of the bat, is he running into one for a 2-run home run? Is Biggio? Well, Biggio ain't up anymore. Is Canna doing that?
No.
You know what I mean? Is Lofton doing that?
No.
Rave isn't doing that. Like, he can hit the ball hard, but he's not a home run hitter. If he's not going to square it up and barrel it, he's not hitting it 411 to center field. To get it out of the ballpark. And like Michael Garcia, if he's hitting line drives and barreling it up, yeah, he can hit home runs. He's got 5 of them, but he's not going to be in a slump and accidentally run into one and be a threat that will, anytime this guy comes up, Michael Garcia's up. Well, you know what? He might run into one for a 2-run home run. So I might need to be, even though he's 0 for his last 12 or 15 or whatever, I can't just throw him a cookie, as Rex would say, because the guy can put it 450. There's nobody else on the team that can do that. So he might come up and struggle. But it's a little Xavier Worthy-ish in that his impact may not even be in having to hit the home runs and just being somebody in the lineup that offers more of a threat than you do right now. I also think he's going to hit home runs.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the concern about, well, if he comes up and doesn't play well. And I'm not guaranteeing that he will. He might struggle. But maybe it's because of what we've seen before with Royals players in the past that we assume when they come up, they're not going to be good at the beginning. They're going to come up and it's just not going to be good. But there doesn't seem to be any, at least percentage acknowledgement of, well, if he comes up, he might just be this good. He might be hitting home runs every 4 or 5 games. Not 5 in 4 games, not 4 games in a row. But he might bat 260. And over the course of the season, he might hit 15 home runs the rest of the way. And he might drive in 45, 50 runs the rest of the way in the last, 110 games. Like he might, or however many he ends up playing, he might do that. Like there is a greater than 0% chance that he comes up and hits the ground running. There's a percentage chance that he struggles. Both of those things are there. But his struggles are different than when Renfroe was struggling. Because Renfroe was struggling and he was an automatic out every single time. It didn't matter. And he wasn't going to run into one. He has 0 home runs and 4 RBIs this season, Renfroe, in 108 plate appearances. He has 0 home runs. It's 6 extra base hits this year. 99 at bats, 6 extra base hits. I would bet a lot of money that Jack Caglione over 99 at bats would have more than 6 extra base hits over 99 at bats. And that's already better than what you had for 40 some odd games that you had with Renfroe on the team.
So I love the point you're bringing up.
Thank you.
Because
let's take a break. We'll come. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Where do you think the Royals in Major League Baseball rank as a team batting average wise?
Oh, I think they're probably like 27th.
Batting average wise, the Royals are 15th.
Whoa, jeez. Okay, my bad.
Where do you think the Royals rank in OPS?
Oh, probably 29th or 30th.
26th.
Okay.
Ahead of the Rangers, which has been shop.
They've already fired
shock.
they fired their hitting coach.
The
their offensive coordinator, whatever they call it.
The Rockies, which might be the worst team in baseball history. The White Sox, which one of the worst teams in baseball. They were the worst team in baseball history last year. And the Pirates, who have one of the worst offense, if not the worst offense in all of baseball. That's who you're ahead of in OPS, while having a much higher batting average than those 3 teams. So the slug has been the issue for the Royals. Is what I've been bringing up all year long. We'll look at the box score and say, well, the Royals had 9 hits and scored 1 run. It's been runners in scoring position, and they're all singles. They don't hit a lot of extra base hits, and that's kind of the frustration. I'll even look at a game like Michael Mass will have 3 hits. I'm like, is he turning a page? I don't mind that he's hitting 3 singles. If he can hit all season long, that's phenomenal. You'll take that all day.
By the way, Massey has 2 home runs. My apologies.
But
I forgot that he had a second one.
But the point
I shouldn't forget it. I mean, those stand out.
The point remains, it's not the singles that have been the major issue for the Royals. It's runners in scoring position with no power. And so you have to string together. I know we keep saying, well, it worked for 14 and 15. Well, all of those guys were hitting like 275. Right? Those teams, 14 and 15, they kept the line moving because they were great with runners in scoring position, and quite frankly, they did hit a little more slug than what this current team is. Stringing together in today's baseball 3 singles to score 1 run is foolhardy.
Yeah,
it's near with the amount of stuff, especially once you get into the bullpens. We keep talking about how, well, the Royals in late innings have really struggled. Yeah, no bleep. Stringing 3 hits together off of a guy that throws 99, and then that's for 1 inning.
Right.
You don't get to see him again. Good luck.
Yeah.
And so that's where the Royals issue arises, and that's why I'm so glad you brought up even the potential, the understanding of the power potential that Cags has. And again, Mark Canha hasn't been the issue, but again, at best, you're getting a single from him. That's what you're getting, which is fine if there's 2 outs and there's a guy on third and you need to drive him in. Yeah, I will take that over probably the potential of a power guy and Cags.
Right.
But the odds of that happening in what the Royals offense has been doing is so slim that none has been winning. Again,
we'll see what happens.
I think this has been the issue.
We'll see what happens. And I'm not saying he needs to be called up right now. So let's get that clear as well. I'm not saying like, well, you've got to call him up this second. But over the next 3 weeks, like I predicted June 24th It's a month from now. I don't know. Does he need 4 more weeks at AAA? Maybe the Royals think he does.
We'll find out what Factor Fiction thinks, too.
What? Are we having Factor Fiction today?
Lebo's in today.
More likely than not. Is that what is Factor Fiction?
It's
probably
a
yes.
high probability action of happening.
Magic 8 Ball. It is decidedly so that we will be having we should do Magic 8 Ball questions. So we should give our opinion and then Magic 8 Ball's opinion and see who's more right. See who's righter. Magic 8 Ball or us.
Well, if we had an 8 ball, I think Nick Martinez probably.
He's already taken it.
He's already taken it. I can't get over his pitching motion. I can't get over the fact that dude for nonstop for 2 hours just was.
He's got Tourette's pitching, I think. Like, it's just when somebody's on base, he's got to act completely different, man. It just the herky-jerky nature of it, maybe that's what makes him difficult to hit against. You know, I mean, he does it for a reason. I don't know that it's a tick or anything. He does it because he didn't. I don't remember him pitching like that before.
I don't either.
He's pitched for a while in different roles out of the bullpen and starting, and he's been back and forth, and he's really come into his own with the Reds the last couple of years. But I don't remember him looking like that when he's been out there. So clearly it's something that he's doing on purpose to help some sort of deception in some way, shape, or form. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. I want to talk about P.J. Haggerty and K-State and what it means moving forward. And is this the last run for Jerome Tang in spending like this? We'll talk about that next. Sterling Holmes, Dylan Michaels. We will break the norm with Les Norman coming up at 1 o'clock. Kansas State gets a big commitment over the weekend in P.J. Haggerty. P.J. Haggerty apparently was the player to be named later in the trade with Memphis for Doug McDaniel, because Doug McDaniel went to Memphis for a player to be named later. That ended up being P.J. Haggerty. So the point guards just switch. Memphis gets Doug McDaniel from K-State. K-State gets P.J. Haggerty. I feel like the Wildcats got the better end of that deal rather than the Tigers.
I guess depending on the monetary differences,
Yeah, I was
too.
going to say, who eats the contract there? Is it
Who's eating the money?
K-State or Memphis, you know?
K-State's eating all the
we
money.
got to figure out. with
K-State's
Spotrac.
eating all the money on this, but I would I'll take my chances with P.J. Haggerty at $2 million with $500,000 in incentives rather than whatever Doug McDaniel might be getting, because, I mean, if we're talking about NIL era and we're talking about trying to win and go to the tournament, Haggerty gives you a better chance than Doug McDaniel does. Now, Doug McDaniel at times was freaking fun to watch. Or, I mean, the way some of the finishes around the rim were just brilliant. But he's gone. C.J. Jones gone. Ugo Onyenso is heading to Virginia. Housen is an Iowan now. And you bring in Bashir from Monmouth and McGriff from UNC Wilmington. I always got to think of the Carolina schools. The kid from Akron. And then P.J. Haggerty. There was a couple of others that aren't on the top of my head right now, but but they also bring in a bigger one in Andres Kostic, I believe is how you pronounce it, of Serbia. Kostic is $2.5 million in NIL money, and P.J. Haggerty is $2 million with $500,000 in incentives. So even if he gets $1 of incentives, P.J. Haggerty, he would be worth more, or he'd be getting more money than Coleman Hawkins. And Coleman Hawkins at $2 million was like, oh my God, this guy's getting $2 million. Now they have two different players getting at least $2 million. One getting 2.5, the other, you're hoping whatever those incentives are, that he gets 2.5. Which is also interesting that we have like a contract that has money and then incentives as well.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, seriously.
you know, it's an incentive-laden contract for P.J. Haggerty, who's on his fourth school in 4 years. TCU, Tulsa, Memphis, Kansas State. So he's making his rounds through Texas and Oklahoma and Tennessee and Kansas, just as long as he's staying in the middle of, the country. Not going to NC State. That's too far east.
Do you like that better, that he is used to being a gun for hire? Because I think there has to be something to that of he knows what to do. This is his fourth school. He understands that, hey, I'm a gun for hire. Like Coleman had just been at Illinois, correct? I think. So that would have been his first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was his first time transfer.
So, like, I wonder if there is something to that, to where P.J. Haggerty is easier to integrate into the offense because, like, no, I get it now. I know how to do this. I know how to bounce around. I've been basically a free agent.
If he's a gun for hire, for Jerome Tang, you can't start the fire without a spark. So they want to be dancing, even if it's in the dark, because you can play night games in the tournament. So that gun's for hire.
Okay, Bruce.
Thank you. I finally got one. I was able to do that, Sterling. I was able to do that. I feel, you know what? I'm going to take a moment and pat myself on the back for that one. Good job, Jason. Oh, thanks, Jason.
There's guns for
Appreciate
hire.
it. Even if we're just dancing in the dark. They weren't dancing last year, so they'll do what it takes to start dancing.
That was good.
Here's what I wonder, though, moving forward. This is the last year of the non-revenue sharing money. This is the last year of the NCAA saying, okay, now we're going to start cracking down on true NIL. That now you've got the revenue sharing of the $20.5 million. And if you have NIL money, it needs to be true name, image, likeness, which means there needs to be some sort of a sponsorship with it. You can't just go to the pay for play from a donor and say, hey, can I get $2 million from you to give to this player outside of the revenue sharing? Well, then what's the NIL? Is he doing something for that company? Is it just a donation? Maybe there will be ways to find coloring outside the lines or coloring inside the lines, but you're pushing the envelope and you're finding ways to move around that.
Brought to you by Geico. P.J. Haggerty
Yes.
by Geico.
That's right. And brought to you by Barbasol. But I'll go back to Kirby Hocutt and Texas Tech. They have already announced they're going to take the full $20.5 million in revenue sharing, and they have also already announced that 73% of that, 74%, is going to go to football, which is $15.17 million of the 20.5. They have announced that 17 to 18%, one of those two will be men's basketball. 18% is $3.7 million to men's basketball. These two players are $5 million. So with the last run of this, now maybe then market value for players will start to decline because it's not just a free-for-all. So maybe P.J. Haggerty's market value next year might be 1.5.
Sure.
But if you're dealing with 3 point, let's just use Texas Tech's model, for instance. Because, by the way, if you're Kansas State and you're Chris Kleiman, and you're talking to Gene Taylor and you're saying, hold on, Texas Tech's giving 74% to the football program. Why are we at 67? I just threw out a number there, right? Like, oh, well, we're going to disperse the money around more. Well, Jerome Tang's getting, 24%. Texas Tech's giving their basketball program 18%. Jerome Tang ain't making the tournament. I'm winning a Big 12 championship. Mm-hmm. Why am I getting less money? Because people have talked about, well, what's going to happen in the locker room if this guy's getting $3 million and somebody else is getting $200,000? It's going to cause an issue in the locker room. Like I've said time and time again, tell that to baseball coaches that have had to deal with, hold on, that dude's the fourth outfielder. He got 42% of a scholarship. I'm batting third at 17%. Well, the coach has to deal with that because that guy was a bigger recruit than you, okay? But at least you're playing. Do you want to be the fourth outfielder, 17%, or would you like to hit third? Now, next year, we might have to figure some things out on your scholarship. But right now, that's what it is. Baseball coaches have had to deal with that forever. 11.7 scholarships for, 35 players, 25 players, whatever it is. It's absurd. Now, is anybody going to bring up and say, well, how's the AD going to figure out these different coaches that want more of the pie? Because Jerome Tang may go, well, hold on. This recruit's going to come to Kansas State, but he needs $2.2 million. I've only got 1.8 left. I need $400,000 more. Hey, Kleiman, hey, coach. Can we take, I need to use this $400,000 over here. Well, hold on, I got this linebacker that's on campus. I don't know. This is money allocated to us. That dude barely makes the tournament. We're trying to win a Big 12 championship. You ain't taking my money. That's just one school. Could be at Missouri.
Sure.
Eli, Dennis Gates. KU, although I think Bill Self would win that argument.
Yeah, that seems like a fairly easy
Sorry,
one
Lance.
there.
Yeah, sorry, Lance. I think Bill Self wins that argument.
Lance, you did a great job, but,
I think
Bill.
The way, Duke, I think Shire's going to win that argument.
Yeah, I think he might win that one.
Kentucky, at one point, Mark Stoops felt like he was going to win that argument, but he sucked the last couple of years. Mark Pope's going to win that argument now.
Yeah.
I need $400,000 from the football program. Done. What else you need? Sorry, Stoops, go figure it out. Go find somebody else in the transfer portal. I can't help you on that.
And also these
better without
teams,
money.
they have to compete with the schools that don't even have a football program but have a
Yes.
top-notch Division I basketball program like
UConn.
Villanova, St. John's, Georgetown.
Right, because if it's like
UConn does have football, but not really.
Right.
right, but if let's say Villanova's
They would
got,
never put money towards the football
yeah.
versus fast. They're almost the same.
Villanova's got great football, great history.
Yeah.
Tano
Great-
Passanio.
Great running backs like Westbrook, Frank Bowl,
I was waiting until you.
etc. Amazing running backs that have been the Hall of Famers, really, if you think about it.
1,000
Yeah.
guys.
But like 100%.
Yeah.
But like Marquette, for instance. Marquette ain't playing football, right?
Basically
They're-
the entire
Yeah.
Big East.
So the Big East is going to have a smaller number of revenue sharing, but their men's basketball program is going to have a higher percentage. Wichita State, there's a world in which Wichita State's basketball program might have more money to pay for play than K-State or KU, depending on the allocation of the 20.5. Because if they're allocating maybe $5 million of whatever their revenue sharing might be in that particular conference, or Butler or Marquette, well, the basketball program's getting $5 million. They're getting 90% of our revenue sharing, so it's not a lot, but they're getting $5 million.
But doesn't football bring in so much more revenue? I would imagine.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. But what I'm talking about is they don't have football there. The Big East is going to get a smaller portion of the money. So they're not going to get $20.5 million for revenue sharing.
Sure.
They're going to get less. But they're going to use it on their main moneymaker, which is men's basketball in the Big East.
It's a lot easier to find 5 guys than 53.
They will have a higher percentage of a smaller pie.
Yeah.
Men's basketball in the Big Four will have a lower percentage of a larger pie that it may equal out in the wash. And there will be schools, I promise you, there will be schools that don't play football that will have more money allocated to their men's basketball program than some of the Big Four conferences, the Power Four conferences do. So how do you do that? Because
Vanderbilt, for example, I think is going to have a really, because baseball too.
Right, but it's a great point. SEC is going to be really interesting with baseball because LSU ain't going to sit there and go, hold on, we're getting this much money and Mississippi's getting this or Mississippi State's getting that. No. Florida, hold on. Why are we giving money to the football program that keeps losing? We're winning. We're going to the College World Series.
And you actually have to compete with the pros. Like, that's the only sport you're competing with 100%. The professionals for contracts.
100%. Our guy, that was going to go to Tennessee.
Out of high school, I mean.
Out of high school. Mets. Boom. Gatorade Player of the Year. Here in KC, our own backyard. Our own beautiful intern. God, he's a beautiful man. Tennessee, here's $500,000 over 3 years. Mets, here's $1 million right now. Well, $500,000 over 3 years or $1 million right now? I mean, seems an easy choice.
4 in 3 days.
You know how you stop Jack Caglione? You schedule a day off. That's how you stop him.
Put NyQuil in his drink or something. Let him sleep.
Maybe that's what it is. That sound. Can we again? I know it's erotica. I get it. And some people, it's noon on a Tuesday, and I don't know how some people feel about this. Playing this over the air. Please don't tell the FCC about this. But just
Sky rockets in flight.
Whoop.
Afternoon delight.
there it is. So this little piece of sound that just gets the blood flowing. That was the 459-foot shot. Like that sound. Oh my God! We were talking about it earlier, Les. Like sounds in sports. I don't know if you heard that or not. That the sound of a perfectly hit baseball that you know is crushed, especially from a power hitter like Jack.
Right.
Or like the sound of a wet net and a swish from like 3 has a different sound to it. Those are my top 2, but that sound, like it exploded. That ball explodes off the bat.
That's the sound that no matter what you're doing, if you're around the park, if you're in the concession stand, if you're in line for the bathroom, if you're on the field, if you're in the dugout, if you're driving listening to it and you hear that sound, you're, whoa.
Yep. You're like, whoa, go, go ball.
That's that's different. There's something different about that, and yeah, it's pretty amazing. That's a sound that I never made. I mean, seriously, there's something different. Nope, can't even duplicate it. Yeah, it's just so good and so pure, and when you watch it, it's effortless. Yeah, the one announcer I think on the last home run said Jack Caglione is inevitable.
Inevitable,
and that's a great word.
Yeah, that was the Omaha, play-by-play, and he's the start to AAA has been otherworldly. And the 6 games he's played, he's got 5 home runs. He has 4 straight games with a home run. Should also point out when we're talking about like what the future for him would be in the big leagues. In the 6 games, he has played first base, right field, DH, left field, and then first base.
They're grooming him, man.
He's played 2 games at first, 1 at DH, and 3 games in the outfield. 2 in right and 1 in left. So it's not just you're going to play right field only. It's like, well, let's give you a taste of left field now.
I'm afraid to drive up to Omaha to watch him because I want to so bad.
St. John's driving up there to watch tonight.
Here's the deal, though. That's a risk because they may pass each other. I mean, it's a risk.
Well, today I don't think so because he's having a press conference this afternoon. They're in Omaha.
All right.
First game there in Omaha, home game for AAA.
You can do it by phone.
That's true. There have been so many requests to talk to Jack Caglione.
Good luck, Steven.
That they just said, we're going to have a press conference. So Steven and Bethany are driving up there to cover the game, to be at the press conference for Jack Caglione. So I think they're
probably
safe tonight.
safe. They're safe tonight.
But they could carpool tomorrow.
They can carpool tomorrow. Yeah.
That'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
How do you let's start. I was going to do this for the second segment, but let's do it now. And we can talk about plenty of other things
your rules,
in the
buddy.
second segment. Les Norman, Breaking the Norm. He is presented by truckmovers.com and First Federal Bank of Kansas City. The mindset of a guy like, Jack Caglione, or just a minor leaguer that is highly touted and is also succeeding at AA, clearly succeeding at AAA. Is there let's start with this. The difference between AAA and average Major League Baseball pitchers. How much of a difference is there in your mind? Because I feel like people think of, well, when Jack Caglione comes up, he's not going to be facing minor league pitching. He's going to be facing guys like, Tariq Skubal and Pablo Lopez and Max Fried. Yeah, he might.
Yeah.
He also might be facing Brady Singer, who's got a 5 ERA. That's also been up and down at least once in his career and pitched in the minors. So how much different if we're just looking at, so the average Major League pitcher as opposed to a 4A pitcher that he's seen in these 5 home runs? Because every single pitcher that he's hit a home run off in AAA has pitched in Major League Baseball in their career.
The thing to remember is that what differentiates, in your opinion, I'll ask you this, and then I'll answer your question. What differentiates a 4A pitcher from a successful big league pitcher?
I think there's a couple things. I think ability to control the stuff and also
location,
speed,
spin.
Yeah, it could be stuff, could be just location with the stuff, and I think also sort of mindset on the mound that whoever's on the base paths, you can still spot your pitches, you can still locate them even with everything going crazy and bases loaded and things like that.
So the answer to that is when he does get up here, it's going to be harder. It's going to be a little bit different, but he doesn't think that way, and that's the maturity. The rarity, the intangible, the maturity that you have in Jack Caglione, because he just doesn't think that way. He's not thinking, well, I can relax because there's this guy pitching. I can relax because there's this guy pitching. I mean, what are the chances that every game this year and last season or spring training, whatever, what are the chances that every single guy he faced isn't a big league caliber? You know what I mean? Not every guy has sucked that he's faced. Not every guy is a 4A. Not every guy is a AA. There are legitimate guys that he's faced, and all of a sudden he doesn't tighten up, and everybody strikes out. I mean, I was on my way to the game. I went to the game first game against the Reds yesterday, and I hear the stat that even the 69 franchise Royals had a better offensive per game output than this year's Royals do. I could not believe that stat, right? Yeah. So even big league hitters, I mean, the guy had a no-hitter through 4 or 5 innings last night until India dumped that weak blooper into right field.
And then hugged Nick Martinez at first base because they've been teammates for a while.
Absolutely. And do it after the game, by the way. So
I thought about you and some of the older players when I saw him go over and give Nick Martinez a hug when he was at first base.
Pre-game fine, post-game necessary, during game, let's go. Come on. Right. So I think he thinks differently. He's looking zone. He's thinking different pitch, and every time he's going to get worked when he gets here by a Max Fried level type pitcher, by those good guys, by Tarek Skubal. He's going to get worked by those guys. The difference is that when some guys get worked by them, they get wide-eyed, and then mentally they're in their head for good. It's the guys that succeed and compete against those guys that use that to learn, that adjust after that, put it in their memory bank, and then they're able to call it right back up. And I mean, he hasn't proven that yet, but most likely what we've seen in the minor leagues, he's going to be that guy because he adjusts continually. Because, I mean, the first game, like the first at-bat or two in AAA, like, whoa. It was a little bit of a struggle. He looked a little bit different. And then 5 home runs in 4 games. And if you look at those at-bats, all he's doing is taking his hands to the ball. That's all he's doing.
You're that big and you've got that beautiful of a swing.
Yeah,
like,
he's patient. His swing is level. He's balanced. He's in the zone. He's quick. He's not trying to do too much. He never loses control of his body when he swings.
Dylan?
I was just going to ask, how much weight do you put in the Kershaw bat that he had at AA? Like, is it really kind of, that's a good sign, or is that like, hey, this is a good way, a nice exhibit, like to present as like proof that he will face a Max Fried and not crumble if he doesn't succeed at that like level of pitcher?
Yeah, Dylan, I think it's a great example because the way Kershaw throws, he hides the ball, he's funky, he's one of the best left-handers ever to do it. And so if you look at one of the base hits that he got, it was like a breaking ball that was kind of down and away. And 99% of left-handed hitters that you'd face, that Kershaw would face, would pull off that ball. Big league left-handers pull off that ball if they swing at it. Some might spit on it. The better ones, like Arise, probably would have either fouled it off or blooped a single or something. But if it's a ball, he probably wouldn't swing at it because he's one of the best in the game. And so to watch mechanically him to stay on the ball and go with his hands instead of pulling off or pushing forward or doing all the little things that the majority of hitters do against nasty lefties when you're a lefty, that just goes to show you he's got control, he's got the right mindset. Now, who's to say he's not going to go through a string? Everybody does, except for maybe a Ted Williams or a Tony Gwynn type hitter. They don't normally do that. But he's just that good. He's got this advanced maturity of a hitter that it's not emotional so much as it is mechanical/mental. And if he continues to do that, man, he probably should be here. Steven might pass him.
I brought this up in the first hour of the home runs that he's hit, the 5 home runs. On Thursday night, he hit the home run off Dakota Hudson, and Dakota Hudson has 132 games in Major League Baseball, 559 innings pitched, 97 starts, Dakota Hudson in Major League Baseball. So that was a home run off a guy who's pitched plenty in Major League Baseball. Friday night, Touki Toussaint, 39 games started in Major League Baseball, 89 appearances, 282 innings pitched in Major League Baseball. Saturday, Andrew Vasquez has thrown 63 innings in Major League Baseball. Sunday, the 459-foot shot was on Sammy Peralta, 35 innings pitched. And then Sunday, Buck Farmer, 513 innings pitched, 417 appearances, 22 starts, 6 saves in Major League Baseball. and he hit that one 108 off the bat down the right field line. So every single home run that he's hit in AAA is against a guy that's had at least 35 innings pitched, but you've got 3 of them that are 282 innings pitched, 513 innings pitched, and 559 innings pitched in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So 4A players, but before he got to AAA, outside of Kershaw, he hadn't faced a pitcher that had ever seen the third deck.
Right.
These guys have seen the third deck, they've pitched, and they're going up against Jack Caglione, and he's handling them just fine. And I'm not saying he needs to be in the lineup tonight, but I also don't know that it needs another 2 or 3 or 4 weeks for him to be down in AAA. And I don't know that bringing him up within the next week would, quote-unquote, ruin him, which is obviously the concern of, well, if you bring him up too early, you take that cake out of the oven too early, it's just not going to be as good. It's, going to be underbaked, and it's just not going to be, the whole thing is going to be ruined. The mindset of a guy like Jack Caglione coming up to the big league club, is it as simple as just saying, dude, you're not the savior. Come on up to the big league club.
Learn.
Join the big league club.
Get at-bats.
Be in the lineup. Get your at-bats. I don't care what they may be saying in the stands. I don't care what's being written about you. I don't care what they're talking about on sports radio. You aren't the savior. You're part of this. We've got Bobby. We've got Salvi. Salvi's got a World Series MVP and a ring, and hopefully he'll have a Hall of Fame, plaque bust in Cooperstown. So just be you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it easy for him to say, okay, I'm just going to be you? Or will he buy into if the fans say, well, he's the savior, he's got to be the savior, this guy's going to hit all these home runs?
I don't see that. I don't think that you don't go to a new place when you're promoted and then automatically say, okay, I have to hit home runs, and then you just start hitting home runs. I mean, it doesn't work that way. There's too much of a mental game because then you're trying to do it. I think that in Jack's case, in some cases, what you're talking about would hurt guys mentally and emotionally, and then it would be your fault, and they'd have to go back down. But I just think, again, the maturity level of Jack Caglione is that of he lets the game come to him. He doesn't get caught up in all that extra stuff. I mean, that was kind of a mistake they did with Alex Gordon early, and they put him at third base, and it was the George Brett stuff and all that. A guy like Jack can't not – I think the double negative works there – can't not listen to the hype, listen to the fans, listen to all that stuff, because it's everywhere you go. I mean, you would literally have to be deaf, putting stuff in your ears or wearing stuff all the time to not hear it, and then be so disciplined as to not read any of that stuff. And so I don't think that he gets caught up in that. If you call him up, when the Royals call him up, it'll be all over the place. And if he strikes out in his first at bat, I mean, everybody's going to boo, or not everybody. So. Someone's going to boo, but everybody's still going to cheer and encourage him and all those things. But regardless of that, I just don't think he's the type of person that's going to get caught up in all that hype. Should they have that conversation? Absolutely. They should. Look, no, don't get caught up in that. You're not here as the savior. You're not here to hit home runs. Just play pitch by pitch, at bat by at bat. Just do your thing.
Yeah, and that's my pushback on if you call him up while your team is struggling or the offense isn't doing well, then now he's going to be viewed as a savior, and then you can have a guy that comes up and has all the weight on his shoulders, and if he doesn't perform, then it's his fault and all of that stuff. I think that's just a simple conversation with him. And also, just because the fans think that he's going to be the difference maker in the offense, is going to hit 50 home runs the rest of the way, that doesn't mean anything, because the fans also said Renfroe should have been gone a month ago.
Right.
And they didn't do that. They didn't DFA Renfroe, a month and a half earlier because the fans thought that. So who cares what the fans are thinking when it comes to somebody's opinion on a particular player? The Royals don't care about what fans' opinions are about particular players there. I mean, Michael Garcia probably should be leading off right now. Well, they don't care that people have called for Michael Garcia to move to the leadoff spot because he's playing much better than India. Now India's our leadoff hitter. Okay. So then why would it matter if the fans say, well, Jack Caglione, he's going to be the savior for this team? Well, we don't view it that way. And Jack doesn't view it that way. We're going and playing baseball.
Yeah.
That seems to be, maybe that's more simplistic because I've never been in a major league clubhouse outside of holding a recording device. Maybe that seems like way too oversimplified, but the fans don't really have an impact on the way managers or GMs, they shouldn't, the way managers and GMs run their organization and run their baseball team.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be an impact on well, we're not going to call Jack Caglione up because people are going to think he's the savior. So we want to make sure that we're doing well. We're winning. Our offense is playing well so that he can join. Well, you know what? Dylan brought up a great point, Les. If he comes up and struggles, well, he's just joining a team that's already struggling.
Fit right in.
So he's going to
welcome to the brotherhood.
He's going to join a team that you know how difficult it is. Oh, Bobby's struggling. Well, that guy was second in MVP last year, and he struggled. Jack, you're struggling. Who cares? That guy's Salvi's OPSing 600. Bobby Witt is in a slump. That guy was number 2 in MVP last year. India gets on base at 360. He's getting on base at 320 right now. These things will happen in Major League Baseball. You're good.
Wouldn't it be worse if every time he came up, runners on scoring position, and we have been coming through in those spots, and then all of a sudden he's expected to do the exact same as the Major League players? I feel like you can look at it both ways.
You can look at it both ways. And oftentimes we talk about the fear of calling someone up too early and you don't want to hurt him emotionally or whatever. You know, how Bobby Witt Jr. is what? Is he 24, 25? 24?
He is 25.
He's 25.
This is 25-year-old season. I don't know if he's turned 25 specifically.
So how long has he been in the big leagues?
He's 24 right now, but his birthday is...
I think this is 25.
June 14th.
Yeah, so this is his 25-year-old season.
Right. So he came up when he was 23, right?
Yeah, 2022 he broke
22
broke camp. So he turned... No, he came up when he was 21, turned 22 that year.
Okay. How old is Jack?
22.
Okay. So...
when is his birthday?
Is it okay for one and not the other? And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Remember guys like Carlos Beltran?
February 9th.
Okay.
So he's already 22.
Yeah. So, you know, guys like Carlos Beltran never saw AA, I don't think, or AAA. Johnny Damon, I don't think, did. I mean, there's...
Yeah, Dayton got here, and then specifically, I remember, because that was something the Royals did, that Dayton got here and said, no, AAA is a part of is a part of the process of these guys developing. We're not going to skip AAA here now that I'm here.
Okay, that's fine.
Because they did that all the time.
That's fine, but my point is that Carlos Beltran ended up having a Hall of Fame career.
It was pretty good.
Johnny Damon had a pretty darn good career.
Yeah, Jermaine Dye was pretty good.
Jermaine Dye was pretty good. I mean, a lot of these guys either...
Swing Dog's pretty good.
Yeah, they didn't spend a lot, some of them didn't spend a lot of time in AAA, if at all.
If at all, yeah.
And so, again, it's not just we read the stats and see, yes, it's amazing. You just got to AAA and you're still launching home runs, 5 in your first 4 games. Holy cow. I remember the first fastball I saw in AA getting called up from single A. It looked like 148 miles an hour. And, I mean, I remember what I did in the game that night in Huntsville, but gosh, it was like the first pitch. I'm like, whoa, what a jump.
What'd you do?
It was 4 for 5.
Nice. I wanted to make sure, because
I
remember what I did. What'd you do? Over 4.
It was not a home run, though. It was 2 singles, 2 doubles.
You know what? Hey,
The Royals can use those doubles. They need some slug.
I'll take
right
6
now.
total bases on a night.
I got to second base on my 4th hit, and Kurt Abbott, remember Kurt Abbott, the shortstop, you might have to look him up because I'm old, but he's like, you can hit, dude. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying not to throw up right now. I'm trying not to puke. I was so nervous and scared. But, again, he's such an advanced hitter. He's such an advanced, mature approach kind of guy. And so I just feel like I understand that we've talked about, well, if you call him up too early, it's control later on. And the Royals said, no, we're not thinking that way. They're a business. They're thinking that way a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then we hear, oh, he's forcing our hand. I feel like he's already forced their hand. Yeah. Do your press conference tonight and show up in Kansas City tomorrow.
Well, what's funny is like
we need you to have a press conference tomorrow in Kansas City.
Yes.
Well, they have an off day Thursday.
We can do back-to-back. All right, call him up Thursday.
And then the Tigers on Friday in town.
It's always like, well, what if it doesn't hit? Well, I know who's not hitting. Michael Massey isn't hitting. Like, well, what if he doesn't hit and he struggles? Like Michael Massey, like the guys who are currently here, who, by the way, probably has an option to get sent back down to AAA, and you think he's part of the future still. Maybe you wanted him to get right instead of trying to perpetually struggle and flail in the majors. Because, by the way, you called Gordon up, you called Hosmer up, you called Moose up, you called Zach Greinke up back in the day. They all had to get sent back down. What happened? They figured it out. Greinke's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Those guys won World Series. Like that's kind of my issue. It's like, well, what if you get called and he's ruined? We have one case, really, of a guy getting called up and being, quote-unquote, ruined. That's Jackson Kowar.
And he wasn't called up early.
And that wasn't an early call-up.
Yeah.
I think people say that, but I go, okay, so Moose had to get sent back down. Gordon had to get sent back down. Are you telling me if they sat in the majors for 2 more years, they never would have got sat back down and they would have been phenomenal and their first trip to the mate. No, they probably had to come up here, see, okay, here's how they're attacking me. Now I can go back down and work on that.
Yeah.
Like Moose specifically did go back down and work on that.
Mm-hmm.
Gordon did as well. I don't know. I guess even if he comes up and struggles and has to get sent back down, that's not like he's never going to be a big major leaguer ever again.
Yeah.
Is that now he gets to go back and now he understands what he sees and what he needs to work on.
Sterling, you bring up a fantastic point that I think that we need to pay,
go to break.
that we
I'll do it,
pay
Jason.
attention
Go to break.
After this, most people, there's that fear of calling them up, and that if you call them up and then they don't do well and then you send them back down, almost the first response most of the time is, oh, well, you ruined them. How about this? They just weren't good enough to make the adjustment to stay. Sometimes that happens. So I'll just spend a brief moment on this. So when I got called up, I got my June call up and my September call up in 95, made the team in 96, and I was there the whole day. The whole day. It felt like only a day. So 54 games in 96. Played in 54 games with 49 at-bats. That tells you that I was a defensive replacement, a pinch runner, things like that, and just a handful of starts. Now, you can look at it like, okay, if I'd have been given a chance and I wouldn't have gotten hurt and I didn't play for the knucklehead manager that I played for, could I have made the adjustment? Maybe. But we'll never know. I could have started the whole rest of the second half of 96, stayed with the Royals in 97, played the whole time, and what if I didn't make the adjustment? Is it their fault for calling me up too soon when I was hitting 380 in AAA? Well, AAA is not the big leagues. The whole point of that is that it's easy to cast that blame on the organization. Some guys just don't get it. Some guys do not get it. And when we talk, and this is the last point, when we talk about guys that get called up and maybe don't do well, and then we say, oh, we called them up too soon, they were ruined. Go back to the stats they had that got them called up. Do they match? Are they the equivalent of what Jacks are right now? Most aren't even close.
Looking at ruining Jackson Kowar.
Jackson Kowar ruined Jackson Kowar.
He was called up on June 7th. Jackson Kowar was. He had thrown six starts for AAA that year before getting the call up. 31 2/3 innings pitched, .85 ERA, 41-10 strikeout to walk in 31 2/3. So you call him up, like what more would it be?
Yeah.
What if it was 8 starts in AAA?
Should have called him up.
Yeah, what if it was 9 starts? And what more did he have to accomplish there that year in AAA? You called him up June 7th. It wasn't, oh my God, we're losing. Let's get this guy up here early May. He's made 2 starts in AAA. Let's get him up. We need this guy in the rotation. June 7th, we've got an injury. We got a need. This guy's ready to go. I mean, the cake is baked. The timer went off. Let's do it.
Should you wait until he's not hot and then call him up?
Right.
I mean, let's call up when he can't figure it out. Let's call him up when all of a sudden he's leaving it down the middle and getting hit hard.
Let's make sure he's really struggling, you know.
So, Sterling, to your point, man, there's a rabbit trail of points we can make for calling somebody like Jack up. I mean, there just really is. It's a great point. And so, I've tried to be diplomatic. I've tried to put my mind in the front office. I've tried to put my opinion on, hey, let's be patient. Nope, done. I'm done with it. Call him up. Don't care what control you lose. I think that maturity-wise, he can handle if he comes up. And we use the F word, the fail. Oh, what if he comes up and fails? Oh, you mean if he comes up and strikes out or doesn't come through with runners on base? He's not batting 1,000 in AAA. He wasn't batting 1,000 in AA. He did strike out once in a while. There were guys on base where he didn't come through, and that's going to happen in the big leagues too.
But see, again, that's where I was at. I was patient, but then I realized "Patience" is the worst song by Guns N' Roses. And Jack, welcome to the jungle.
Yeah, well, that's a great discount.
It's been getting worse here every day.
You know what? I'll get to my points on the other side. We got to go to break on
Sweet child of mine.
City. Nailing it.
Just one of the greatest lead singers, in my opinion, of all time.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. Les Norman is our guest. I take his word for a lot of things when it comes to baseball, certainly.
Jack's not seeing double vision.
No.
He's hot-blooded right now.
He's definitely not seeing walleye vision either.
Not seeing double A.
Call him up.
Vision.
It's urgent.
It's time. That's right.
I love those. Those are so good that you guys are naming those, I'm guessing, songs.
Say Jukebox Hero, we can move on.
Whatever.
You
could
you
be,
know
he
that
could be
one.
the Royals Jukebox Hero if he comes up. You know?
Yay! Jason did it.
Yeah, Ringo wrote a song. Yeah, we're going to put that right on the fridge. So everybody can see it. Yeah, Ringo. A couple of quick points. I mentioned Kowar there. Kowar had made 6 starts in AAA that year before they brought him up, and that ruined him by bringing him up when they did. He was 24. Noah Cameron is 25, and he made 7 starts this year in AAA. Total. Because he also had to go down, and then he made another start. He made some more starts at AAA. So he had made 5 starts at AAA this year before getting that call up to pitch for the Royals. And he's been pretty good. I don't know that they ruined him by calling him up. Now, he is 25. He's not 24.
I'm picking up on your sarcasm.
It's a big difference there, both being, college kids and everything. And also the point that I wanted to touch on briefly and then move on to something else of what you brought up when you were mentioning Bobby. And I think it's a good point, that we discussed just a little bit, but what your thoughts are certainly more experienced playing the game than mine. Bobby Witt was a high school kid that played a little bit of professional ball after being drafted in 19, was at the alternate site in 2020, so he didn't play in any games because of COVID. In 2021, he played in AA and AAA, and it ended up being 63 games in AAA. And then he broke camp in 2022 with the big league club. Opening day, they just got Benintendi, Carlos Santana, Michael A. Taylor. He's the starting third baseman, and they batted him second on opening day after 1 year in the minors from being a high school kid.
Can't rent a car.
Right.
But you can play third base and bat second in the big leagues.
As a 21-year-old. So that was the kid that was like, no, he's ready. Jack Caglione's a college kid, has played in multiple World Series, has...
Against the best in
the SEC.
Offer. Yeah.
And then when you get to the World Series, you're facing off against other guys' Friday night starters.
All first round, second round guys.
Yeah, you're facing everybody's Friday or maybe Saturday. You ain't facing a Sunday starter in the College World Series typically. So he's been through that, played a little bit last year, going through this year, gone through AA, 6 games at AAA so far. If he were to be brought up and then placed, I don't know, 5th or 6th or 7th in the lineup, who's more prepared for the pressures of playing in that arena, Jack Caglione or Bobby Witt? And it's like, well, Bobby Witt grew up around it. Cool. He grew up and watched his dad do that. But was he ready then to step in as a high schooler that played AA and AAA for 1 year, and then the starting third baseman, and they batted him second right out of the gates? Whit Merrifield, Bobby Witt, Benintendi, Salvi, Santana. This is the guy that's going to help us get over the hump. 100 losses last year. We revamped this offseason. Bobby Witt's batting second. He's your third baseman to start this. Don't tell me that he wasn't viewed at that time as Bobby Witt's now up. This is different now. And then opening day, made the crazy play at third, had the game-winning double down the left field line to help him win. It was different. All right, Bobby's here. So don't tell me that Bobby was ready and experienced less, but Jack wouldn't be ready and experienced when that guy's had way more pressure situations and at bats with a lot more on the line than Bobby Witt ever had before he got up to the big league club.
It's a great point. I mean, every point is extremely valid, and it just points to the fact that I think that the Royals know when they want to call him up. I think they have the idea in their mind. I'll be honest, I know what it means, but with a guy like him, I'm getting kind of tired of hearing he's going to force their hand. He's going to force their hand. You force their hand after spring training. He forced their hand in AA. He's forcing their hand right now. There's none of that left. I mean, there's no other forcing. There's nothing left to prove. Just get him up here. Let him do what he needs to do. He's not going to hit 350, most likely, but let him get up here. Let him if you call him up now and he's your future, you get him used to playing outfield on the big league stage. You get him used to facing those better pitchers that we talked about in the first segment. You get him used to this clubhouse. You get him used to the guys you're going to play with every day for 7 to 10 years until he gets really big and the Royals can't afford him and then he goes to the Yankees. So I just want to prepare you. I just want to prepare you 10 to 12 years from now.
They kept Bobby Witt Jr. If any good Royal goes to the evil empire,
Bobby was willing
I
to
will
take.
drive to New York City.
Bobby-
I will go to George Steinbrenner's box.
Bobby took a little less
Well
money.
cued.
Bobby took a little less money. That matters. I don't know what Jack Caglione's thoughts are. He got Cags was a bonus baby too.
They had to pay for Paul Skeens, so they won't be able to afford Jack.
Good call. Thank you.
We're good.
Royals? Wow.
No, my bad. The Yankees.
I knew what you were talking about, dude.
But is
Royals
the,
could trade for Paul Skeens right now.
is the main reason in your mind why Jack is down is not because of all this stuff offensively, because he, quite frankly, is learning a new position. I mean, he's learning outfield pretty much on the fly. And I brought this up. I go, it is a little different because for Bobby Witt Jr., for example, he was a shortstop, wasn't a great shortstop defensively, moved him to third, but you wanted to make sure he had enough seasoning down there because defensively, if he's going to be one of your premium defensive positions, he's got to play it well.
Right.
Right field, not quite as premium of a position. I mean, Jose Guillen's out there. We've seen some dudes out there in right field who...
I mean, I played right field. Are you saying it was a little easier
Not always.
for me? I mean, you know.
Not always.
Wow.
I mean, we saw Norioki take some routes out there. I mean, he took some routes out there in right field. Not all right fielders, but if sometimes that's where you put maybe the lesser fielder.
But
Not you, though.
But at least he's got the arm to play in right field. Like you know that already.
So is the big holdup, they just want him to at least be somewhat serviceable out there in right field, and they're not worried about the bat. And if it was up to them, maybe if he was a DH or first base, he might already be here right now.
But in the short time he's played right field, have we heard or read one thing about him not being a great outfielder?
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen or
haven't
heard
seen good
anything.
or bad.
I hope he.
I mean, nothing.
in
Nothing
fairness.
about it.
I think part of it too is I think we did hear that when he's out there, like it's not just playing a game in the outfield; it's playing a game and you're getting opportunities.
Absolutely.
The ball has to be hit to you so that you know those opportunities.
Right.
And it takes a while before you get enough opportunities in games that you feel like, all right, this
You're
is the route,
comfortable.
this is
Sure.
the track he's taking.
So where did Bobby Witt Jr. learn how to be the shortstop that he is mostly? Was it the minor leagues or was it with Kansas City?
Probably with I think one with Kansas City and then two in the offseason from rookie year to second year.
Right, but I'm talking about actual playing time.
Actual play, yeah. No, it was with it was with Kansas City because in AAA they were moving him to third base because of Mondesi blocking him at short.
Right. Who?
Adalberto.
And
And then they moved Nicky Lopez off
Okay,
shortstop.
he still has a lot of potential though. Okay, don't let the injuries or
He's
the
only-
talent
all right.
fool you.
He's only
All right.
29, so
Fair
you
enough.
got to think about when he starts to mature. He's only 29 right now.
Yeah. So did Alex Gordon get sent down after the transition from third base to left field?
I don't think he.
So
did.
he learned it with Rusty Kuntz. He learned it,
Yeah.
during the big leagues.
Well, down in the minors.
Down the
and
minors
then
a
they
little
brought
bit,
him up.
and then they brought it. Okay, so he had a little bit of seasoning there. So I just feel like he's done a good enough job, and the Royals have experimented enough with how much outfield did India play before he came to the Reds?
I believe 0.
Okay, how much outfield did Massey play before he got to the big leagues?
I believe 0.
So we can't bring Jack up because maybe he needs some more outfield seasoning?
Well, that's different because those guys are already with the team right now, and you're not worried about ruining them.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep doing argument against. Argument against.
Yeah, but that's different. Why? Because it's detrimental to my argument.
That's right.
Right. I object. Why? Detrimental to my argument. It kills the whole thing. Yeah, so I think that's part of it. I do think playing the outfield is part of it. And I really hope tonight he plays in the outfield because Steven's going to be there in person. So maybe Steven can just simply watch. And like this guy's in the outfield, let's just watch what he's doing. If there are opportunities to go out there, but I do think that's part of it. And when they say it's not just playing the outfield, like he needs opportunities in the outfield because you can play 9 innings and get 1 ball hit to you, and that sucks. You know,
Steven, how do you look in the outfield? Yeah, he wears that uniform really, really well.
That would be me.
He looks great.
Looks large.
Well,
me.
so but I heard he had a couple errors. Oh no, he can't play outfield, but he looks good. You asked how he looked.
yeah, but
He
here's
looks good.
Yeah, I don't know how his routes are going to be, but I know that if there's somebody on second and there's a ground ball hit to right field, I know that they're going to think twice about just rounding the corner like they didn't have to do with Renfroe or Waters in right field. That, well, this guy throws 97 off the mound. He's got a gun, and so if I'm just going to send this guy home, I'm going to test him early and see what Jack Caglianone's going to do, or a fly ball will test him early. But he's already got a better arm than anybody they've had in right field this year.
Yeah. I love the fact that, again, got to go out there and see John Rave make his big league debut.
Yeah.
3 of the at-bats overmatched by changeups, pulling his head, gone. But again, I was cheering for him. I want in that bunt base hit that they pulled back. I was hoping, come on, Reds, leave it alone, and dang it.
And you're watching it slow motion, like, touch the bag, touch the bag.
And he got his foot real high in the air. He didn't stay through the bag. It was just so close. So I was pulling for him, and it's going to take time. You got to get the adjustment, and most guys are going to get caught up in it. I was caught up in it. I get it. So, but again, you're calling him up to see how he can do, and you're calling Lofton up. So yes, there's 2 different corner outfielders that we've been harping on since day one. Give me some different corner outfielders. So Rave is probably going to go back down sooner than later, and hopefully that will be Jack's spot, right? So I'm just wondering, although I'm glad to see a guy get his big league call up, I'm just wondering the why behind that. Is John Rave a guy now Lofton can hit. Lofton can play everywhere. I love the fact that he's in the big leagues.
You and I have a little disagreement here.
No, that's fine. I'm just wondering, do they send Rave back down? Because is John Rave filling, is there a move, John Rave the filler, to give Jack a few more at-bats maybe until they're ready to call him up? Tell me about your disagreement.
So I actually don't disagree.
Remember, I can reach you, so, look out.
Well, I have Dylan back there who will take your side.
Dylan,
so that doesn't help me at all.
Dylan, I got my money on Les in this one. I'm going to go ahead
then
and
I'm fighting
I am a straight lover.
Adding to Les's argument by bringing me into it.
Yeah, Les is minus 500.
All right, I want to hear this, though. Tell me.
Okay.
Educate me.
So I don't disagree with the thought that Jack might be, that the Rave is just a Band-Aid. Because I was talking about this for a while.
Not long term. I don't think.
Yeah, that's why I said it. But I said, right now you're having surgery. Are you going to wait until you can get everyone in here to get it fixed, or are you going to try and clear it out and clean the wound first?
Sure.
Rave is cleaning the wound right now. You got to put the Band-Aid on before you start major surgery. Okay?
Right.
And CAGS is the major surgery.
Tell me, Rafe, after this, tell me Rave's statistics, though, before as he got called up. But I want you to finish your point.
You go. I'll look at that. You continue your point.
John Rave was absolutely raking when he got called up.
Okay.
I mean, raking. 7 home runs in the last month or so, OPSing near 1,000. I know what Lofton has done this year. Really good. I liken his defense, and I'm glad you brought the positional versatility. That is something. There is something to that. I don't think he plays a really good spot, though. It's almost like Hunter Dozier. I'm not saying he's Hunter Dozier, but where it's like, well, he can play first, third, left, and right. Yeah, not well, though. Yeah, he can play them. They will play him there, but it's not at an elite level. It's not at a great level. It's at a fine level, which there is some value to, especially with Michael Massey not hitting. If you want to have him play second base, you could potentially have him do that as well.
That's probably Lofton's best position for me.
And I would agree with that.
And he's not as good at second base as Massey is, in my opinion.
Sure.
But he's a better hitter.
He's really struggled in the outfield defensive this year, some of the metrics as well, which is where he's playing. I just think, for me, I know he's overhauled his swing. I get that. We've seen him in the majors a good amount now, and when we say it can't get worse, it did get worse. He was batting 50. No, that's not 150, 250.
Yeah,
it was
point taken, 50.
It was
50.
And I know he's had more pop this year than in previous seasons. Just even with him playing at the K, it doesn't seem like a good fit, and I really hope I'm proven wrong. I'm rooting for the guy because, again, I like seeing him versus seeing Renfroe out there or even Kevin Biggio. We saw what they were doing. Made no sense to me.
Right.
I'm rooting for him. I just don't know how it's going to translate to the majors because I have seen it, and it didn't work.
Here's my viewpoint of why I say that, and your points are very valid. I receive them all. Watching last night, Lofton, he had a changeup that was low. The umpire was kind of calling low and outside changeups, and India got screwed on one, and Salvi swung and missed on several before the home run. But he had a changeup. He was behind in the count, and he hit a line drive to the center field wall on that. So, again, I know when you're hitting 50, you cannot ignore the numbers. But when you're able to stay on a ball and drive it to the center field wall on a rainy day with the wind blowing in and not pull off that ball, that tells me that you're able to handle yourself at the plate a little bit. And again, the thing that frustrates me is that sometimes you call guys up and then you give them 10 at-bats, 15 at-bats, and sit them on the bench.
Yeah.
So you don't – that's why sometimes for me the numbers get skewed a little bit. You know, and that's why we had talked about this a month ago. Okay, you got Waters up. Let him play.
Yeah.
Because the options are MJ. The options are Renfroe, and those aren't good options. Those are horrible options. And if he doesn't do well, well, you're not losing anything, but this guy can switch hit. He's a better outfielder than both of those guys.
And he's delivered, by the way.
And he's hitting 280. So he's starting to deliver a little bit. He's starting to get a feel. Now, yes, he struck out, but he set the whole game on a 52-degree rainy day, which is understandable, and he worked the count to 3-2. So, again, what you're saying against Sterling, great point. I'm just seeing a different swing, and I always put it up against what will the guy be like if you give him a chance to play every day, because it's harder when you don't get to play every day and you're asked to go in and perform.
Les Norman, before we let you go, Brady Singer facing his old team. Is it the offense that knows what Brady Singer can throw? Is it Brady Singer that knows what the offensive player's ability are?
It should be advantage Royals, but I feel like it's going to be advantage Brady Singer just because of the way the offense isn't producing right now. It should be Royals. Probably will be Brady Singer. And I want to mention to the Royals, it was really cool pregame yesterday that they made the announcement and gave Brady a chance to tip his hat and wave, and the few fans that were there did clap for him and stand for him. I thought that was very cool. Now he's pitching today. Put up a 10 spot.
100%. Les Norman, Breaking the Norm, presented by TruckMovers.com and First Federal Bank of Kansas City. You're the man, brother. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. There's Les Norman. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next. all of that stuff.
Give me 1 second. I want to pull up Brady Singer and give a little background to what he's done this year. I know
he's got a 5 ERA.
Well, no,
That's what he's
4.88 now. Come on now. I want to see if he's still throwing the cut.
Are you going to bring up the baseball savant or
the cutter?
Fangraphs? Or
I wanted to see if he's still throwing the
okay.
cutter, and he's still throwing it at 12% because I was wondering if things went bad, if he was going to abandon it. And he's still throwing at 12% with a 4-seamer 11. He's throwing 4 pitches this year, at least double digits. Zero change-ups, but the sinker-slider combo still. I was just wondering because that was something to keep in mind because he started off the season very strong. Remember? His first 3-4 starts, he was outstanding, and he was throwing that cutter, and I was intrigued to see if that was something that he would continue to use. He has been, but the results have been a lot worse. I'm going to look up the cutter itself and what guys are doing against it. People are starting to hammer the cutter now. Actually, not to the back. Not slugging against it, but they're batting .278 against it.
Against the cutter, the expected slug is .665.
Yeah, not great. So it should be getting hammered,
the
but it's been...
The expected slug is .665 against the cutter this year for Brady. It's his worst pitch in expected slug.
That's a big-time yikes.
Slugging, it's the lowest number. So it's like, guys are hitting it hard and I guess right at dudes.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's what's going on, the old Salvi underlying numbers.
Look for the... It's gone. Salvage has gone down a little bit now.
Yeah.
Not quite in the bright red.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting that he's throwing at least 4 pitches 10% of the time when he never threw more than 3 pitches 10% of the time. And the third pitch was 5%, 6%, 7%, 3%, 4% on that third pitch. And now he's got 4 different pitches that he's throwing 10% of the time. The sinker slider is what he is.
Yeah.
And then he throws the cutter and the 4-seamer. So he's got 3 different types of a fastball, and then he throws the slider.
Who do you think has the advantage in a matchup like this? Where
That's what I asked Les. I mean, it's like, but I think the offense should have the advantage.
Agreed.
But the offense is not good right now. So Brady Singer probably has the advantage. But I think guys at the plate that have seen, and you know what his stuff does.
Yeah.
You've seen what the slider, you've seen what the 2-seam does, or the sinker. You've seen that it starts it he's going to start it at the hip of Vinny and have that thing work back inside to be a strike on the inside part of the plate. Vinny should be ready for that. So it's one of those things to where this pitch that's coming at me, is it going to dive down if I'm a left-handed hitter? Is it going to dive down and in, or is it going to sweep back over the inside part of the plate? And I've got to be able to recognize quickly what the spin is to know where that ball is going to go. Because he's throwing a 4-seamer more often, but he's not going to throw the 4-seamer at my hip. He's going to throw the 2-seamer at my hip. So I got to know that if this thing's coming right at me, it's not going to stay straight. And if it does, then I'm going to wear it. We got ice, and I'll head down to first base. It's not the easiest thing to do for big leaguers. It comes with the work. You know, it's a hazard of the job you get paid a lot of money for. So I'm not saying, hey, just, get hit and it's easy. It's not a big deal. No, it hurts.
I would imagine a ton of lefties in the lineup tonight for KC. This year, smaller sample size, so I didn't want to bring it up. But last year, lefties versus righties, if you go down to the split of even innings pitched, because obviously a lot of lefty-heavy lineups against Brady last year, almost the exact same amount of innings pitched. He gave up 108 hits versus 67, 15 home runs versus 7, a lot more walks. The whip.
So your outfield should be Waters, Isbell, and Rave.
Correct. So I'm just keeping an eye on that because Q's a guy who loves the analytics and the numbers, and he loves the lefty-righty matchups. This should be a good Vinny game. A good, hell, I'll say it, Massey. If you struggle tonight, I'm all the way out.
I mean, look, you go.
Give me something to keep me slightly in, Michael.
You need more lefties in the lineup. Jack Caglione? Just joking. We bring in Todd Lebo. He's always right.
Back.
Thank you to Jack Caglione for hitting 5 home runs in 4 games. Thank you to Todd Lebo hanging out with us, leaving Base Camp Fitness early to come and hang out with us. Not getting your core done.
No, I came back and ate some ribs. Just in like I scarfed them down in 2 seconds. So
yeah, Lebo gave me 1 rib. Boy, I sure am hungry.
1 rib.
How much for 1 rib? What if I asked for a drink? I said, what if you just poured it in my hands for a dime?
Pour it right in your hands.
Pour it in my hands
Just
for a dime.
sip it out.
That's right.
They look good, Lebo. Those
No,
ribs.
They were good.
No, I didn't say you look
I
good.
don't look good.
No, I
The
didn't want
ribs
to lie
were
to
good.
you.
I'm very proud
the
of
ribs
myself.
look
I'm
good,
getting
though.
better. Got good reviews this weekend when I made those
liked
for the
them.
family.
No,
liked
Lebo,
them.
you do look good.
Yeah, you do, man.
Don't let anyone tell you differently.
Scale didn't look good this morning.
Hey,
Extra day in Nashville, followed by Memorial Weekend without doing anything. Ribs.
Good for you, though. Good for you. You know what? You went and you're doing what a responsible, committed, somebody with some discipline, unlike myself, would do. You have that weekend, and then you immediately go and start working it off.
I tried
See,
to.
I don't do that.
I tried to.
I had that weekend, and
Made
then I'm
it
like,
in
you
there
know what?
Friday, and then today. I did not go in yesterday. I could have gone yesterday because they were open for a
You know
couple
what?
classes early.
Yeah.
But I went to
No,
the
you're not
movies at
going.
9 in the morning instead. So
What'd you go see?
saw Friendship. Weird. That's the Paul Rudd. Tim
Oh, the
Robinson
Paul
thing.
Rudd one.
It is very,
Is it
it's
weird?
Very, I loved it.
is
but
it
it's-
worth it or no?
It's not for everybody. I promise you.
I like
that.
Tim Robinson, but
If you like Tim Robinson, you'll love it because
like
Okay.
Coffin Drop
it
is one of the
so-
best skits.
Yes, it is very
Okay.
cringy.
Corn cob TV
Yes.
style. Okay.
Yes, very.
By the way,
Very
I
good.
forgot to say, I went to the Savannah Bananas on Friday night.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I don't get people that hate it.
People hate Savannah Bananas?
Oh, like real baseball people.
Oh,
it-
I don't
Yeah,
because,
know.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Be-
okay.
because it makes me like Hosmer's
cares?
playing in it. Guthrie has played in it before.
Yeah, they just showed up. And,
Moose
they
and
didn't
Gordon,
play, but yeah.
they seem like they're having an absolute
Hey, I'll tell you
blast.
something. 38,000 people at
Dude,
the K.
It was such a great experience.
70,000 people at college football stadium.
I mean,
It's
they sold out up at Monarch Stadium quickly
They
to
sold
the
out
point now that they go to Kaufman.
they played at Clemson's football stadium.
they sold
and
out
Florida State's football
2
stadium.
nights back to back at where the Buccaneers play at Raymond,
James.
2
Ray.
nights
Yeah.
back to back sold out. I mean, it's such
Why
a
didn't they play at the Rays place?
too small.
It doesn't exist either.
Doesn't
It's also
exist.
too
broken.
small for them.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
such
it's
a
broken right
fun.
now.
It's
It
the
is
Harlem
fun.
and Globetrotter. You have to understand what
It's
you're getting
just
into.
fun.
It's just fun.
Yeah, nothing wrong with having fun.
And it was great for. They had a whole bunch of stuff. They were playing the firefighters, and it was cool. They did a whole bunch of stuff for local firefighters, and they brought out a whole bunch of. It was just really neat, really cool. And by the way, if you think they're not good, I mean, I'm not saying they're phenomenal players by any means, but they're at least a lot of guys played college ball.
Yeah,
they made
they can play
Hosmer and Gordon. I know they haven't played in a while, but Hosmer and Gordon struck out.
Oh, did they?
Oh, and they were late, and
What was the
Gordo? I mean, Moose had the one that made contact had a weak grounder to second. But it was awesome seeing those
It
guys
wasn't
again.
Hosmer that had the weak grounder to second?
I know Shockley even was laughing
He
about
didn't,
it.
he
He goes,
didn't kill the grass in front of home plate?
he had a great tweet. I'll give him that. He goes, well, we all know my hitting's been washed for a while now.
Still got paid this year, didn't he? Is this his last year
Yeah.
getting paid?
I'm not sure.
I think the Padres money comes in this
What's
year.
the golden at bat for Gordon coming out?
So they do a thing where anyone can hit. You can just pick. So let's say there's 2 outs in the ninth. and you want to have
So
your
like Rob
guy hit-
Manfred wanted. They talked about
yes,
that. So the same thing.
So basically, they're trying to steal from the Savannah Bananas. Which, come on, Rob.
This is where my Denny's comment derived
Yeah,
from.
right. I remember
Yes.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
the golden at bat. So it's like, in the ninth inning, you can bring up Bobby Witt with
Aaron
guys on.
Judge for the 5th
That's
time.
right.
And
Yeah.
so they did. Then they brought up Gordon, and he was a little behind on a fastball.
That's too bad.
Struck out, but it was awesome. It was a really cool experience, a lot of fun.
Yeah, and listen, the guys have all played high-level baseball somewhere. They
Oh
can
my
play
gosh, yes.
baseball. I mean, they have some skill doing this. Like the Globetrotters.
Like the Globetrotters.
The Globetrotters aren't just like you and me out there playing. They're
No.
dudes who played college
They're
basketball. and
dudes
some
doing
pro
flips
basketball,
when they
so-
catch the baseball.
Yeah.
It's guys that
Yeah.
are dribbling the baseball like a basketball through their legs before they throw a dude out. Like it's
Yeah,
You
Hos-
know, fun.
I scored
Hosmer
a point
makes
against the Harlem Globetrotters.
did you?
I got to play for the
Great story.
Washington Generals.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did you
I
free
made
throw?
a free throw. Yeah, they foul you. I was a celebrity, whatever.
Nice,
and,
Leeds.
and it was down at the Sprint Center, and
Did you miss one?
I missed the first, made the second. The first one was right on line. I got fouled. I made it. I scored. I'm in the book, baby.
Good for you,
yeah.
because I feel like that would be pretty nerve-wracking. Were you nervous?
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like my legs would be a little shaky there.
Yeah.
I'm an honest
You
enough
didn't want to
man to admit
airball.
that.
The first one I shot, I just hit something. And
Yeah,
it was
like
right
this.
on
You
line.
be long.
And the next one was
Pop a shot, use the
pured it.
backboard.
Yeah, pured it in.
Hosmer this year is making $13 million, but this is the final
This
year.
is the final.
Not
final.
bad,
He
huh?
doesn't make any more next year. Okay, after being released
And
a
this
couple
is
of years
Padres
ago.
money.
Padres
and he played
money,
for the
13
Padres
million.
win.
He played for the Padres
21?
in
22.
2018 and then through 22.
He got traded because
Yep.
he
And then he got to the Cubs.
He kiboshed this Juan Soto trade, and they said, "Screw it, we're going to trade you to Boston," because he wouldn't go to Washington.
Yeah.
And he played for Washington for 2 seconds. I mean, Boston for
Boston.
2 seconds.
One of the
Cubs
games
for 2
here.
seconds.
And then he played for the Cubs for a little bit, but the Padres paid all of that money in that trade. And
And
then
the Reds paid Moose all that money, right?
Yeah. And then the last 3 years, 23, he's made 12.28, 24, he made 13. This year he's made 13.
That was the opt-outs because
Yeah.
you had the opt-out when he went there because opt-outs are a big deal. And then when it came time to either opt in or opt out, it's like, well, I'm opting in, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Hell
like
yeah.
I remember Ian Kennedy here, his opt-out numbers, and someone at the very end of the year asked me, I'm opting in.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to take this
I-
$16 million
yeah.
a year for
Yes.
2 years.
Not
going to
go to the open market and make
Yeah.
a third of that.
or not make
Or not make
anything.
anything.
Bye, friend. We
Yeah.
don't need you.
Right.
You know,
They just because they let him go and nobody else was,
a good
was
agent.
signing Hosmer.
it is. But, and
is
it
smart.
gives the players a little bit of control. If they're no good, they get something. And
Yeah.
at least it's not that he made less money his last 3 years than his first 2
He did.
years. here.
Yep, absolutely.
So
he made
whatever it was.
21 or $23 million those first couple in San
NFL
Diego.
players have to just be kicking and pounding sand because baseball is.
No, they're just adding more games and doing whatever.
I mean,
Flying
baseball
closer, bro, they don't care.
is player first. It's all guaranteed, taken care of. You. Football is like, hey, we play a very violent physical sport. We're gonna make it maybe less safe by adding games and making you play overseas.
Of course, the difference is you can make $50 million in Kansas City, and you ain't gonna make that in Kansas City and playing baseball.
Yep, sure.
Hosmer made $175 million in his career.
Doesn't suck.
Not good, not bad, not good.
Not,
Either way,
not
for
it's
him.
good.
not
Lebo?
terrible. It's not terrible if you can get it. It's
What did
not
he
bad
accumulate?
work.
About 19 points of WAR in his life. Something like that?
19.1. Nice job. Well
Yeah.
done.
I've looked at his a lot, and the Padres paid for about 4 points of WAR, paid about $100 million.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
looked at the WAR breakdown one time, Lee. That was fun.
Yeah.
The Royals got a good deal out
The
of it.
Royals got a great deal about it. His
Royals
WAR,
got
Moose's WAR.
Royals got
you know,
15.5
Kane's WAR.
WAR from Hosmer.
For about-
Padres got 4.
$100
Cubs
million?
got minus 0.4,
Well, the
and
Cubs
Boston
didn't
got
pay much of
0.1.
it.
Oh, I know.
The Padres paid all the money, so the Padres made the Cubs worse. Think about that. The Padres made money to make the Cubs worse.
They paid him to make the team worse.
Yeah.
But you know what? I respect it. Good.
I wonder how it works.
You can
I
make
guess they
that
just-
money. You make it.
Does he get direct deposits from the Padres this year every week? How does it? I would love to know the logistics of how that works.
Yeah, just like you know that $13
Or
million
is
are
that the
coming
thing
this
you
year.
negotiate? Hey, let's just let's do this Bobby Bonilla style. Once you do this for me,
Yeah.
let's cut it out and give me 10 years off, and when I may need the money and do it a little that
Yeah.
way. I mean,
well, Iverson did that, right? Doesn't Iverson in like 3 years get like $50 million or
Yeah,
something
it was
like
like
that?
a Reebok deal he did.
It may not. It may not be $50 million, but it's
It was a
something.
lot. I think it was close to that.
But
It
it's
may be
something
50.
absurd to where I think the 5 in my mind is his age that I'm thinking that maybe like
35 million,
or
but it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was enough because he has some great quotes.
get that money later when you may need it. You don't know
Right.
how dumb you're going to be in the next 10 years.
Well, also, it's not always. A lot of times, those guys when they're young too, they're taking care of so many people with a certain lifestyle, and the next thing you know, oh, I'm not having my weekly or yearly income come in, and all these
It's a
people
real
still
deal when that
want
check
to-
stops.
Yeah.
You know, it's a real deal.
$32 million at age 55. So June 7th, 2030, he gets $32 million.
Good for AI.
So he's 5 years away.
In a
essentially.
chunk?
Yeah, $32 million. Here you go.
Yeah. Bobby Bonilla's almost done, I think.
Bobby Bonilla, I think it's 2031.
So he's still got 5 years of $1 million, and his number is actually silly. Some of these other numbers are big now.
Well,
I think Chris Davis has a crazy one that's going to start.
Oh yeah,
Awful
dude.
contract that one
Yeah,
was.
Bobby Bonilla has 2. I think Bobby Bonilla's got 2 different ones.
He does one with the Mets and one with the Orioles. Or
Orioles.
something?
Orioles,
maybe,
yeah. Orioles, yeah. So I think one of them either ends this year or next year. May have just ended, but the Mets doesn't end until like 2031. But that was also
It'll be
like
July 1, right? That's
right.
when the stories start coming
yeah.
out. This
But
is
it
May.
also
No,
wasn't
okay.
like, hey, we're going to give you $7 million. Okay, then we'll give you $7 million over 7 years. It was like, we're going to give you $4 million, or we'll give you 25.
Yeah.
Starting 7 years from now.
It's a wonder these guys got buffaloed by Madoff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because they wanted to keep the money and invest in Madoff.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to keep the money and then invest all of it.
If you're
and
going to
then,
invest in a Bernie, it better be Williams.
I guess,
Exactly.
you know, in New York, they'd probably do that.
Wrong Bernie.
They, you know, the Mets invested in Juan Soto.
Oh, we weren't getting the switch hitter.
Doesn't
Shoot.
seem to be the best investment either. The Royals.
Long way to go on that one.
The Royals and Chiefs may
Fact.
have Missouri investing in them. We shall see.
know.
The legislative session ended a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, not last Friday, the Friday,
The Friday before. Well, technically, like what the Wednesday before
Yeah,
is
well,
when
they
adjourned.
said goodbye to this, and
Yeah.
they had other conversations.
So that adjourned, and we said if they were going to get back to the Show Me Sports bill, that they would have to call a special session. And Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe had a press conference today at 10 o'clock. And let's hear from Governor Kehoe that is called a special session to begin next Monday, June 2nd. Governor Kehoe detailed the deal that they are trying to get done in Missouri for the Royals and the Chiefs.
All along, to be honest with you, I thought the package was significant enough that it may ultimately require a special session as we were developing it. But we really didn't have kind of the cake baked until the last couple of weeks of session with agreement from the teams and stakeholders and different people. And I don't want to represent that there's an agreement from the team. Maybe I shouldn't use that word. Just an understanding of what a competitive offer should look like. They'll still have to make a decision. But we wanted to get our ducks in a row. And as I've said from the very beginning, the offer that we put forward has to be a good deal for Missourians. I said that in here. It has to be a good return on investment for Missourians as well. And so making sure we had that right balance didn't kind of get all worked out until very late in April and the beginning of May.
So the special session will be next Monday, and I don't know how long it'll take. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just this.
Well, I was gonna say,
there's a
it's this-
whole storm thing in there because the tornadoes that hit St.
Yeah.
Louis, and then
National
there's
Weather
also
Service and-
an amateur sports thing that I know is a big deal around like the sports commission and stuff because they use that money to attract events. And then there's another thing about something at the University of Missouri, some educational thing. So this is not the only thing they're going to discuss.
Are they bringing? Sorry if you don't know this, but are they bringing back in the special session the discussion around the abortion rights?
I don't believe so. I think
or
they've already
the
done
minimum
that.
wage. That's been discussed, and
I think they've done that. And they've already said what they're going to do.
Because they moved this out of the way pretty quickly
So they
after
can get that
filibustering,
done.
so they can talk about those
Right.
things.
I
they
think
felt
that
were-
all got talked about.
Okay.
But don't take me to the bank on
Well, that's fine. Let's hear about the stadium financing. And
There's
some
a lot of
the
numbers in this clip, but
That's
just
fine.
listen to them. They're
Let's
out
listen
there
to the
for you.
numbers. These are the details from Governor Kehoe.
To help retain our major sports teams in Missouri, we are calling the General Assembly to enact legislation that modifies tax incentives for sporting events. The Kansas City Chiefs and Royals are Missouri's teams. They are Missouri's teams, and they drive billions of dollars in economic activity through tourism, job creation, and small business, including hotels, restaurants, and retails. Our Show Me Sports Investment Act will independently allow the Kansas City Chiefs and Royals to bond an annual appropriation valued to their current Missouri state tax revenues. This program was introduced at the end of the regular session and received very strong support from the House of Representatives. And this just isn't about football and baseball. As I said before, this is about economic development. This is two organizations that have businesses, employees, and a ripple effect on our state's economy that we do not want to move to any other state. The Kansas City Chiefs' current stadium generates $28.8 million in annual tax revenue for the state of Missouri, over 4,500 jobs, and $572.3 million in economic activity just in Jackson County alone. A new Royals ballpark district is estimated to support 8,400 jobs, provide $400 million in labor income from new jobs annually, and generate $1.2 billion in economic output from district operations annually. For months, we have worked with legislators, local leaders, and teams to make sure that Missouri has a competitive package on the table. We believe this financing tool, the Show Me State Sports Investment Act, is a competitive offer, but also a good deal for Missouri taxpayers. The money dedicated for the bond payments are up to the amount of revenues historically generated by the teams. This is the same amount of revenue the state stands to lose if either team relocates to any other state. But local support is still critical in this effort, and this plan will require local contributions. So I'm asking legislators to work with us to keep these businesses in the state where they belong, the state of Missouri.
A lot of numbers there. I don't know. There's some big numbers. $1 billion, $500 million of economic impact in Jackson County.
For the Chiefs.
I've always been dubious of economic impact numbers, but that's the number that they'll give you. The real number, for sure, is $28 million in tax revenue, because that's a real number that the money comes in. And, if they go to Kansas, that will be tax revenue that goes to Kansas. That's why the governor of Missouri is concerned about this, because that's $28 million that they're not going to have. The economic impact might still be some of that could still be in Kansas City, Missouri, because maybe someone's going to come in and stay at a hotel and go to a game if the game was in Kansas, and they'll spend money in Missouri. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know about that number, because the Chiefs have an economic impact number in Johnson County, Kansas, too, because if someone comes in, they may not stay in Missouri. They may stay here. They may do something. So that number's
Or they
different.
may come to a Chiefs game and then they go to the Legends. Now it's helping out Wyandotte.
You could do whatever.
Yeah.
So, but the tax stuff's a real deal. I mean, that's money that gets spent, sales tax dollars. It's spent at the stadium, income tax by people who work at the stadium, who play football at the stadium, all that. That's a real number. This is still no slam dunk that they're going to get this put on there and done. And even if they do, then all they've done is made a choice for the Chiefs or Royals.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee they're going to
Right. They're just trying to make sure that they're competitively bidding.
Right now, they got nothing.
Right. There's nothing. There's the Royals and Chiefs trying to make a decision, especially the Chiefs with the Star Bonds, which I think is more of the issue in Kansas, is more invested on the Chiefs side, it seems to me, and the Royals feel like they would like to move downtown or close to it, whether that's over in Clay or just north of the river, or wherever it might be. Missouri doesn't even have an offer to the Chiefs right now. The only thing out there is Star Bonds, and so there's this thought of this might be the case, but there's so much politics that are going to be played. Like I wonder in the special session, are they going to have to, in this special session, bring back up the $500 million bill that did not get voted on a few Fridays ago and was killed in the House, and those in the Senate that said this was bipartisan, $500 million for construction projects, a mental hospital here, $50 million of it going to a mental hospital here in Kansas City. All of this that was...
It's all connected. They'll fight about it.
Yeah, they get... So the politics and the filibustering last week or 2 weeks ago was from the people that were in favor of that bill, that worked on that bill and said, no, you screwed us, we're going to screw you, we're filibustering. We're not even going to let you guys talk about this and vote on it because we're going to take up all the time here because you screwed us last Friday. So we're screwing you right back. So maybe now it's politics of, all right, quid pro quo, we bring
Luckily,
this back on, we vote for it, and then we get this.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Who knows how it's going to go. But, I've said this. I think that both of these teams, and maybe they're not both exactly the same, but I think especially for the Chiefs probably more than others, because there's no football team in St. Louis now. I think it's probably true for both of them. The people in St. Louis don't care if the Chiefs play in Kansas or Kansas City. And they don't care if the Royals play in Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas. They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. On this thing that they're going to talk about next week, there's a whole lot of people in St. Louis whose houses and property got destroyed by a tornado, and that's one of the things that's going to be in the special session. So my guess would be the people, the reps and the senators from that side of the state are much more concerned about that than they are this.
And one of the main opponents of this bill was a senator from St. Louis.
Right.
A district in St. Louis was one of the main opponents of this particular bill that was part of the filibustering Tuesday/Wednesday, 2 weeks ago, was part of that filibustering that took place, St. Louis. So that's going to be obviously a big deal when it comes to this.
Listen, compromise happens in all these things eventually. We'll see where it ends up going. For Governor Kehoe, listen, that's real money leaving the state, and you don't want to be the governor who lost another NFL team, because this state has lost 2 NFL teams in St. Louis. Well, 3, two, Cardinals and Rams, and our modern times. And then now, if the Chiefs move, now listen, this isn't moving to Los Angeles or Arizona. It's just moving to Kansas. But that the state line means something on the money.
Yeah.
The people in Kansas City, the enjoyment, the fun, do you still like the Chiefs? Will you still go to games? There might be someone who's like, I'm never going to Kansas, got a little Norm Stewart in him. I'm not giving them money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
There are more than it's New Jersey where the Jets and Giants play. That's the New York. There are things like that are across a state line that's just not that big a deal. It's important to some people around here, but the people in St. Louis don't give a rip.
No. Governor Kehoe in his press conference, he was asked whether a failure to get something done during this special session will close the door on getting things done with the 2 teams.
No, as I mentioned forward, it would pretty much wrap up what the Missouri portion would be, but the county and/or counties, depending on what the Royals end up doing, they would still have to work on a piece for them. And I've talked to county leaders in both Jackson and Clay County, just in case. We don't know where the Royals will go. I've read the media reports like you have. But certainly leaders in Jackson County as well as Clay County are aware that they will still have to participate in this. And I think that's appropriate, by the way. I think there has to be a partnership with the teams and with the counties that they locate in, as well as the state.
I think that if they don't get all this funding from the state and the county and the city, I think they're probably toast in Missouri.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it without.
Part of the Show Me Sports Investment Act requires investment from the county or the city to go along with that. Like, it has to have investment or an expectation of investment from other public financing or public entities that would go towards the Royals. It's not just all being funded by the state.
Listen, and that could be just straight money or tax breaks or whatever, but you have to have something to do it. But without, that's been the big fear all along. The money from the 3/8 cent sales tax from Jackson County for the Royals and the Chiefs is not enough money to build a stadium. It's just not, okay? Yeah. Because when they did that and they did the renovations, the teams had to put some money in. The Chiefs put a lot more money in the Royals. Bigger stadium. They built a practice facility. They did some other things. But that's not enough. And both of these teams have said they're going to put some money in, a lot more money than they put in before. Things are more expensive now. But you can't just have a little Jackson County sales tax and build a stadium. It needs to be something from the city, something from the county, something from the state, and something from the teams. The way it's set up here. Yeah. Now, a lot of people will say, screw that. The Hunt family has enough money to build their own stadium. There are lots of people who will vote no or be against whatever. But this is the way it works in states and cities like we live in.
Google and Amazon and other companies have enough money from their CEOs and ownership to build their own, to not get tax breaks on that property and on that land.
But they do because they can.
But you attract them there, so you offer them tax breaks. They don't pay. That's money. That's tax money that's not going to the city that you're offering to them. But people don't seem to complain about those things when the larger companies come in. Well, Amazon's going to build this distribution center here on this land. We're going to give them tax breaks and for the next 25, 30 years.
The only difference
on that.
is...
Well, hold on. Why are we giving money to billionaires? Amazon
Where's my
can afford
tax
that.
break, boys? Where's my tax break?
You had a good tax year.
No.
The difference there is Amazon. Listen, Jeff Bezos has tons of money, but you might be a stockholder in Amazon with your 401k or whatever. You don't got no stock in the Chiefs. So that's what I think sometimes people are like, it's a publicly traded company, da-da-da. These are private companies that here, and listen, even in San Francisco where they're done giving money away, when they build things, promise you, but there was some tax break somewhere when the Warriors moved across the bay. So there was something there. Now, there's just not straight money coming out of someone's pocket. There's something. And, Kroenke, I'm sure, got some tax breaks in Los Angeles when they built SoFi, but they didn't get, sales tax on the people and stuff like that.
But also,
mostly, this is how it works.
But so you're going to he's going to build his own stadium, but then also he's going to take all of the revenue from that. He build his own stadium. This is we're going to publicly finance it, but we're also getting the tax over the years that we're getting back into the city, plus the community benefits agreement. If I'm building it myself, I don't need to give you a community benefits agreement. I don't need to invest in housing or invest in inner city or invest in those that aren't invest in whatever it might be that you want from the CBA from that particular team.
If the Chiefs renovate, there will be a minuscule community benefits agreement.
100%.
I'm not even, and listen, myself personally, I don't get why the teams are in charge of fixing society in this way, but that's what it's turned into in a lot of these things. So
but
I don't know.
It's a tit for tat. Like we're going to give you some money. We want to make sure the community says it's worth it because of this. We're not just giving billionaires money. And also the point, I don't know how much would be the labor income, but the number he presented was with a new Royal Stadium, it would be $400 million to labor income to build the stadium.
Yeah.
So it's
a few years of big investment money. And,
You're giving all this money to billionaires. Well, you're also giving a bunch of money to construction companies here in Kansas City and workers that are making the money to build it as well. Like they're getting the immediate money from
you got to have projects
if
you're a construction company.
So we'll see. $1.2 billion of economic output. We'll see what that is. And also what the Royals will invest in the stadium. They've already said that they're going to put $1 billion into it for the ballpark district.
Right.
But what are they putting in for the stadium?
And depending on where it is, too.
Right. So it's like, well, it's a $2 billion project, and the Royals are putting in half. No, the stadium's a $1 billion. The stadium's a $1 billion project, and the Royals weren't really putting on anything. The ballpark district's also a $1 billion project, and the Royals are saying we're going to finance that. We're going to take care of that. But also that's real estate and hotels and a lot of other things that they're going to reap the benefits revenue-wise from that. But they need the stadium to help build that district because without the stadium, the district doesn't mean anything. You're not attracting anybody to that.
But if you build it, they will come.
Maybe.
And that,
hopefully.
Fact.
Hopefully.
Slightly overrated.
Oh, I think you love Entourage. Fiction. You're such a turtle.
He wants to be Turtle so bad, like he would be.
He thinks he's Vince, but he's not.
He thinks he's Vince, but he's really Turtle.
That's a fiction from you.
Oh, that's
and
so
if you say
brilliant,
it's
Todd.
fact, you're lying.
So brilliant, Todd. He thinks he's Vince, but he's really Turtle.
So he's saying
He's
it's
really drama.
overrated.
It's overrated. Slightly overrated.
Fiction.
He thinks he's Vince, but he's more drama than
Yeah.
and
Oh,
Turtle. than-
drama's good.
Yeah. So you think it's overrated?
Slightly overrated.
Slightly overrated? I'm going to say that you think it's a fact.
Oh, Fiction. That show's
Damn it.
awesome, dude. That show
Son of a
slaps.
gun. Misread
no,
that one
I
so
am more like
terribly.
Vince. Come on, boys.
Oh, come on.
You're Johnny Drama. Come on now,
You're
Lebo.
crazy, dude.
If you had hair, it'd be
I'm
redder.
totally turtle.
No,
Actually, I'm
yeah.
probably E.
No,
I handle
Lebo's more
things.
E.
E might make more
Yeah.
sense for
Look,
me.
no, you're not Lee. You're not E. Around this office, there's an E, and it's Todd.
Who's the guy that's
Here's
the
Ari.
agent at
Ari Gold.
that works with Ari Gold, the younger guy? That
that guy.
What,
That's you.
that's Sterling. Yeah,
So, yes.
That's you, Steve.
that is absolutely
Lloyd?
it. No,
No, that's his assistant. He might be Lloyd.
Lloyd's the assistant, although it could
the kid
Lloyd!
that's hosting the party.
Yes, yeah. That guy. Later.
Maybe I haven't got there yet. But I just started season 6.
Oh, you just started? You haven't watched it? Oh,
Remember
you
he
Have you
started
done
it
season
like
1, 2,
Star-
or 3
Yeah,
yet?
I was
no,
gonna say,
no,
he did
we're
the
going
Star
back. We
Wars
started
thing.
at season 4. We're going 4, 5,
shuffle.
6, and then we're going back. Yeah.
I'm shuffling the
I'm
episode.
shuffling. Come on, it's okay. Yeah, Entourage.
I'll figure it out later.
Absolutely slaps. What a show. What a
terrible.
program. Gonna watch it tonight. All right, we'll go to Dylan this time.
Yep.
The Knicks will come back and tie the series tonight.
I'm gonna go as far as say they're winning the series in
Whoa.
full, and they will tie it tonight.
Whoa, so Dylan's going fact. I'm going fiction.
Going fact.
Fiction. Pacers win tonight.
Yeah, fiction. Pacers win tonight, and I think Pacers probably win in 5.
We made it up.
Sorry, Dylan. I could not agree
Listen,
more.
I would bet against whatever the hell I say NBA wise because I was also on the train of Oklahoma City's too young to make the finals, and they're about to do it.
Yeah, they're
in
about to
5
win the whole
games.
thing.
Yeah,
The Eastern Conference is just fodder for Oklahoma City
exactly.
to win in 5 against whoever they play.
I told you guys OKC, but you guys didn't want to listen to me.
What do
guys-
you guys?
You guys called me crazy.
I think it was me.
Yeah, what do you mean? You
guys called me
Dylan
crazy
got a mouse in his
before
pocket?
the playoffs started. He might actually have a mouse in his pocket.
I don't know.
Never know.
Nice mouse.
Yeah.
Dylan,
Nope, Jason.
Close enough.
we'll go third.
Yep.
Jason.
Yep.
Cags will get called up before June 24th.
I think that's a fact now.
24th?
Yeah, June 24th has been my prediction for a while.
That's but like the Super 2 is going to be like the 4th or 7th or something. So I say before that. Yeah, fact. I think before. If he keeps going like this, you can't not. There's
Dylan?
no reason not to.
What would they say? Fact.
I said fact. Todd said fact.
I'll go fact.
Yeah, fact. Man, I guess I could have gone earlier. I just thought June 24th was pretty aggressive, and still that
It's a
wasn't
home run
aggressive
every
enough.
game. He might be here
Yeah,
this
I know,
weekend.
right?
Yeah, seriously.
I don't think they. I mean, how much do you think? This is a complete aside, and I know we got to hurry up and get through this. But how much do you think they are examining the Super 2 or caring about the
you
Super
have
2?
to.
I mean,
A little
they're going
bit,
to keep
and
them
they're-
6. They'll keep them 6 years regardless.
But they're right here at it. And
Yeah.
that's only.
When is this?
Nobody
Pardon my
knows
ignorance.
for sure. I
Yeah.
think Stephen was saying this morning it could be the 7th.
Because you have
but
to
it
be in like the top
moves.
22% or something of service time of all rookies to be a Super 2. Like Bobby was obviously going to be a Super 2 because he started the season.
Yeah.
That year.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But it's coming soonish.
For those that don't know, Super 2, you still have 6 years of control, but it's 4 years of arbitration, 2 years of league minimum. As
Right.
opposed to, if you're not a Super 2, it's 3 years league minimum, 3 years of arbitration. So he would just get probably $4 or $5 million more over the course of
At
the
some
6 years.
point, it's like
than
just
not-
who cares? Just
Yeah.
pay the man if he's worth it.
Yeah.
All right, so
Pay
we will
that
go
man his
to
money.
Leaboo.
It's 3-2, all tied.
Twad. Michael Massey has been the biggest disappointment this year for the Royals. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Now, Todd, this is easy. Fact. If you've heard Sterling over the past week,
I mean,
this
you
is
guys still on the team?
Yeah, it was a fact.
Oh, yeah, that's a
Okay.
good point. That's a great point.
I can't count Hunter Renfroe in this. Does Hunter
You can
Renfroe
get-
count?
Yeah, Hunter Renfroe counts.
Well, whatever you say, I'm gonna die on the Hunter Renfroe hill. I'll stick with my first answer.
He says fact. Dylan, you said fiction. No, wait. Todd
said
said
fiction.
fiction.
Yeah, flip him.
Dylan said fact. I think it's fiction, but Sterling thinks it's a fact.
It is a fact, and
Yeah.
you should have waited to give your explanation after, because then you just gave Jason a point.
No,
in a game.
I knew. I was going to go fact,
It's
but
tied anyway.
I think it's fiction.
Never tied.
But I think you were going to say fact.
It's a fact, because Michael Massey was supposed to be the 5 or 6 guy this year.
all
Michael
tied at
Massey was
3.
supposed to be a dude, and he's OPSing it in the 4s, while everyone keeps saying he's playing good defense. The analytics say otherwise. The underlying numbers say dude has not been great defensively. He's been average at
Well,
best.
the underlying numbers say that Salvi's raking. So I mean, maybe.
But he's not.
Maybe I know exactly.
Both
so
of
maybe.
it, but-
so maybe Massey is playing good
Both
defense.
have been bad. Michael Massey's been
No, but
buns this year.
no, but the point is, you're saying the underlying
Rooting for
numbers.
the guy, but man.
You're saying the underlying numbers are saying that Massey is not playing good defense, and I'm saying he is. And you're also saying the underlying numbers say that Salvi is mashing the baseball.
Okay.
But I'm saying he's not, because
Michael
what my eyes are
Massey-
showing me
Michael
is that he's
Massey has been 2 scoops of assy, is what I'm telling you.
at the plate. At the platey, yes.
You're wrong. Hunter
Massey's
Renfroe
been
was the
assy
worst.
at the platey.
No, but Renfroe didn't have expectations for. I had
He's
expectations for Michael.
$7.5 million.
Biggest disappointment, not biggest.
Waste of
Bust.
money. Go to
Waste of
Dylan.
money. Dylan will start us. It's all tied 3-3-3. Hey,
The Timberwolves will make it to Game 7 against
I guess I already
OKC.
gave my answer here.
Yeah, no, I was looking. I was like,
it's
oh
back.
no, the bird,
It's back. The turkey vulture's
the
back.
vulture,
Turkey vulture
that guy
is back.
every day.
Guess who's back?
When you were gone,
Back
Jason,
again.
he put his beak,
Vulture's
ugly
back.
mug right up against the glass and stared my
Guess
ass
who's
down.
back?
I was
Guess who's
terrified.
back? Guess who's back? Just wants to
Petrified.
see inside. It's like, who's giving those dumbass takes?
The answer is no from all of us on this. Say
Fiction.
no 7
Yeah,
games.
they're not going to 7 games.
Yeah, it's fiction.
I'm answering for
Fiction.
everybody.
Fiction.
thank
You guys
you,
are
Todd.
correct. That bird is literally
4-4-4. Roll tide.
beyond scary, and it's walking towards me.
No, but not. I mean,
It's fine.
walking
Don't worry
towards
about
me.
it. This way.
The door's closed. It doesn't have opposable thumbs. It's not going to open up that thing. All right, I'll go first on this one. We're all tied at
might.
4.
The biggest issue for the Royals offense, oh my gosh, is runners and scoring position.
No, it's Massey. No. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say that is a fiction. I lead off on this one. I'll go fiction. That's not the biggest issue for this Royals team.
Fiction.
Fiction.
It's fiction. I thought it's
Because
slugging.
it's slugging.
Slugging.
Yeah,
You hit the ball over the wall or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
hit doubles, hit
Runners in
triples.
scoring
Who
position
cares
is,
if anyone's in scoring position?
is we had an hour-long conversation in the first hour. So we
Because
can get
if
back
you
into it, but
if you hit the ball over the wall, you don't even need somebody in scoring position to score them.
You score yourself.
You get runs even if they're at first base.
or even a double might be nice instead of trying to get 3 singles
Well,
together.
if
with 2
somebody's at
outs, good
first,
luck.
a
The
double
odds of
could
that are
score them.
Slim to.
Yeah.
There's a chance.
All right.
5-5-5. All tied.
We will go with I think Lebo this time.
We're all 5 out of 6, by the way.
Oh my gosh, the bird just flew over our heads.
It's okay. He's
Well,
not
no,
in here.
It's not over our heads. It's outside. Over our heads would be on the
Vinny,
roof.
Have you been to a zoo before?
I'm the one in the enclosure. Vinny ends up batting over 279 this year.
I think I'll take that. Sure. He's got things going the right way. That's small potatoes. He's got a lot of season to go.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah, I'm going fact too.
Man, fact, yeah. You
21.
guys
It's
are
only
right.
we're
he's
believers.
21. He's 21 points away, and he's batted 350 over the this month. So yeah, he needs 21 points added over the course of the season. Yeah, let's go.
That was pretty strong.
Let's go. He's
Yeah,
going to bat
fact.
325.
Okay, I guess that was not a hot take.
Joking. Dylan
Um,
next. All tied at 6.
Budweiser is a far superior beer to Bud Light.
Fiction.
I mean, I have no idea. Fact.
You're going to say fact. You're a diesel guy.
Yeah, it's fact. I'm a
That's a
diesel.
fact. It's not
Give
real,
me, come on, it's
I know
premium.
you.
It's the premium. Don't give me the unleaded. Give me the premium.
Yeah, he wants the real deal.
I want the real deal. I want to feel it.
He wants all the calories.
I want
come
all the
on.
lead.
Marlboro Lights? No. Give me the Cowboy Killers.
filters.
Yeah,
Let's
come on.
go.
Let's get it. If I'm going to do something bad, I'm going to be bad. Come on.
7-7-6. I'll go first
I'm not
here.
going to half-ass. I'm going to full-ass it. Daniel Lynch
Uh-huh.
goes over 6 outs tonight, so has to at least get 7.
Yeah, I'll take that's a fact.
Yeah. Let's go. He can do that.
Fact.
He did last time, right? Did he go
No,
7?
he did not. He went 5.
Oh, wait. Yeah. I'll
Only
say fiction.
5
then.
outs last time?
I'm saying
He
fiction.
went
then.
5 outs last
Can
time.
I change my answer to fiction?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm still going fact. Dylan, fact,
Yeah,
fiction.
fact.
Fact. I think.
Oh,
Damn
right.
it!
Yes.
Sorry, Todd, you
made me
dummy.
change the answer.
Big dummy.
No, I didn't make you.
Yes,
I
you
gave you
did.
the information.
8
You
to
asked for
7
the
to 7.
information.
I
he
wish it
went,
was about beer. I knew you.
He went 1 to 2 2/3. Yeah, you knew about beer.
I know more about your beer than your baseball.
8 to 7. Last 3. We'll start with Todd.
Todd.
Yeah.
Todd. Kingsley Sumatia will grade out as a top 15 left guard this year, according to PFF. Has to be starter, so it can't be like a guy who fills in a game. But so if there's 15 starters at left guard,
Qualified reps.
Yeah.
he'll be a top 15 left guard.
Fiction. That's the tall hill to ask him to
Fiction.
be.
Fiction.
Fact.
Oh,
I
my.
believe.
Ask me about Budweiser.
I still believe. Well, you guys just keep all agreeing with each other. I mean, you guys are allowed to have this non-group thing.
We can't
Come
all
on.
agree with each other if we have different numbers.
Group think,
We
huh,
have
boys?
different points. It's 8 to 7 to 7. We're not all agreeing with each
Pretty
other. 2 more to
close.
go. Dylan.
DM.
Yes.
Lofton will have a higher OPS than John Rave by June 15th.
Fact. Even though I know you're going to say
Fiction.
fiction, it's fact.
Fiction.
John Rave
he'll
didn't
say
do much
fiction.
yesterday. Fiction.
Fiction. Rave is going to end up having a
knew
higher.
that.
Let's
Come
get
on,
hot.
Dylan.
Yeah.
Come on,
Johnny.
Dylan.
I know.
Let's rave out.
Stand
Let's
on
rave,
business
dude.
over
Hey, STP. Hey, STB. Let's rave, baby.
They did a good night game.
Yeah.
Forget about the fireworks. Glow sticks.
Rave, dude.
Let's do it.
Let's rave.
He needs
All
to
right.
hit a game winner on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Rave
then
out.
the lights
and
can
the
go
fireworks
crazy.
and everything.
Yeah,
Everyone
glow
gets party
sticks.
favors.
Everybody
Yeah.
gets glow sticks and stuff. All right, last one.
Yes.
9 to 8 to 7. Last one. I'll go first.
All right, Jason.
Uh-huh.
I think it is soft
Yep.
that the Chiefs voted to ban the tush push.
Fact.
You're a Philly guy. Fact.
I'm not a Philly guy.
You are too a Philly
I
guy.
lived there for 3
Diehard
years.
Eagles
We've
fan.
got the
Come
clip.
on!
We've got the clip of you chanting.
EGLS.
Nope, you spelled it wrong. Or right. You spelled it correctly on that one.
Honorable mayor.
I will go fact.
Yeah, I think it's kind of soft that KC
That is a fact.
voted to ban the tush push. Like, come on.
I mean, you're a tough Philly guy. You're South Philly.
No.
Philadelphia.
West
I was in
Philadelphia,
West
born and
Philly. I
raised.
was in West.
On the
Yeah,
playgrounds where he's
I was in
spent
both.
most of his
I was in Fairmount and
over there.
West.
He's over there, Marion, Lower Marion High with Kobe, the posh area.
I was not there, no. I was not in the posh area.
You're over in Villanova.
I was where my car was at St. Joe's at one point, where my car was getting broken into a couple of times. It happens.
Hey, that can happen anywhere.
Did you go to the plateau?
Shockingly, when they stole one tie, not all my ties. They must have had a business
Must have
meeting.
had good one tie.
Must have had a business meeting. They
I got an
needed to go
interview.
to.
I got to get me a tie. This car looks like it's got ties in it.
Every of the ties.
Stole one tie.
There is no tie. Oh, excuse me. There is a
course
tie.
there's a
It's
tie.
10 to 9 to 8. We're all tied here. We need
What's
a
the deal?
tiebreaker.
Here's the bonus question.
Bonus. Oh, tiebreaker, bonus. Okay,
I like
call it
calling bonus
Yeah,
questions.
Yeah, that
instead
makes
of
more sense than
tiebreakers.
Sure.
tiebreaker. Yeah, sure.
List how the AL Well, it's like Jeopardy.
Yes.
Because you get a bonus points.
Right, yeah.
I'm going to bet all 10 here.
List how the AL Central ends up this year. 5 teams.
Okay.
In what order do those 5 teams finish
Oh,
up in?
that's
I'm going to start at the bottom.
That's
Start- yeah, we
easy.
start at the bottom.
I'm going to start at the bottom and the top.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come
Mix it
back.
up in
He's
the
the
middle.
bottom guy.
Wrap things up next.
teams down?
I did. They're
Who's
right
at
here.
the bottom?
White Sox.
White Sox.
Okay,
White Sox.
I went different here.
Who'd
No,
you
I
get?
did the White Sox.
That's the first disagreement.
Okay.
What?
You have to write Chicago White Sox.
I
Come
vote
on.
CWS.
What is
You're
Chicago
dumb.
White
You're
Sox?
dumb.
I put CWS.
Okay.
Number 1, Detroit.
I put Detroit.
Detroit's number 1, White Sox number 5. Who's
Okay.
number
2?
number 3?
Number
Number,
3.
well, hold on. Let's just go 2. Let's not be dumb.
I did
Number 2,
3,
I did
you
the
would say-
Twins.
Oh, I did Cleveland.
Number 2, I did Twins. Dylan, number 2.
I had Cleveland.
These are all dumb as
He's
the
got
Royals.
the Royals. I should have said Royals.
Okay, so
still
then,
believe-
Then I did Royals.
I did
third.
Royals number 3. Dylan, what'd you have number 3?
Royals.
So the Royals are number 2.
And I had Twins fourth.
Yep.
Twins are 3.
I had Twins over Guardians.
Guardians 4.
So I had Twins over Guardians.
They're
so I
all
win.
mixed up. I didn't even know how to figure this
Twins
out.
over Guardians.
What do you
I
mean?
Win.
It's 1, Detroit.
Yeah.
I got
2,
3 of the 5.
Y'alls.
I got 3 of the 5.
Twins. 4, Believeland. 5, White Sox.
I got 1,
Jason,
4, and 5.
Last. Lebo,
What?
you worked out after Memorial Day. You win.
What?
Yeah. I don't know how to figure this out.
Congratulations.
Should you?
I got
It's
3
like
of the
it's
4.
the AP. Did you get the second place team right?
You didn't get 2nd, 3rd, or 4th right.
Did you get? But were you closer on the second or third?
Yeah,
I was
'cause
1 off on all of them. Were you
2nd
2
and-
off on anyone?
No, 2nd and 3rd were flipped.
All right. I think you might have think you
Yeah.
won. That's fine.
No,
It's your show.
No,
You won.
no. He thinks he won, but what actually happened is you worked out after Memorial Day today. Lebo, you win. And
you were
get,
sitting here eating ribs.
Yeah.
I did
and
enjoy
he was,
that rib.
And he
It
was
wasn't
grinding.
ribs. It was just 1 rib.
You
I ate
ate
2 ribs.
Lebo's
Oh, it was
1 rib.
one
I ate
rib.
2 ribs.
I'll show
You
him hungry.
ate Lebo's 1 rib.
It was good, too.
and
I didn't
It was
know
good.
there were 5 ribs left, but I ate 2, and I gave Paige a rib, and Dylan got a rib, and you wouldn't eat one.
You only had
Jason
1 left.
Thank
It was
you
either
for- I'm
Jason
glad-
or
And you
myself.
deferred.
Well,
Thank
I
you for
deferred
deferring.
for the second half because something else may come along at some point. And I already had soup here, so I ate my tortilla soup.
What kind of soup do you have? A little tortilla?
Chicken tortilla soup.
Homemade?
Yes, my mom made it.
Oh,
We went over last night for dinner at her house.
that's very
Her,
nice.
my dad, my
What else?
wife,
You
and
just
me.
had soup for dinner?
We had some soup. We had some good Cheesecake Factory bread.
Just the 4 of you?
Yeah.
Little double date?
Little double date.
That's fun.
That's very nice.
Yeah, I'm
Good
a
for you.
nice son.
Yeah.
You're a nice son to go over
You're
there
the
for them
only
to cook
son,
for
right?
you.
I'm the only child.
You're the
so,
favorite
yeah.
one.
You're a
Favorite
ni-
and least favorite.
Yeah.
a
but
little
yeah.
spoiled.
You're such a nice son to go over there and have them cook for you. I'm so nice that I went over there for
He's
free
just
food.
the best.
It was great.
So nice.
Well,
I cooked the
so
ribs
nice.
for everybody. That was very nice. I cooked the ribs
See?
for my son,
Not for
my
me,
daughter,
apparently.
his
See?
girlfriend, my
And
son-in-law.
didn't it feel good? That's
did
how my
feel
mom
good.
felt making for
I know
food
this.
for all of us.
It tasted good. I know
It
that.
makes my wife happy when everybody's together.
See?
See? Not you, though.
No,
You
it
said your
does.
wife happy, not you.
No, it makes me happy.
She's filled up with love and ribs.
Yeah.
So everybody's
And
happy.
Happy
with
Potato
that.
life, happy
casserole.
life, Sterling.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't go off and play golf twice this weekend.
Did you do that, Sterling?
I did actually.
Only
yeah.
twice?
Only twice.
Wow, you had 3 days and you only golfed twice.
Sunday and Monday.
Why didn't you golf Saturday?
I was helping my wife because I'm a lovely husband.
Yeah, so you
Dutiful.
So you gave her 2 hours of your time on the 3-day weekend. Good for
No, a lot more than that. Well, Saturday I had to golf, and then I had to go out to Maloney's until like 2 a.m. and then wake up for my 8:30 tea time Monday. So it happens. Sometimes you got to just do it. I've been
Yeah.
watching Entourage, so I think that maybe got to me.
you. No, I get it, man. I get it. Everybody's got their sword or their cross to bear.
Good job, Turtle.
So nice job, Drama. Johnny Drama.
Here's the deal. You're just not Vince.
You're not Vince.
I'm
You can
Vince.
be E.
I think E is probably the most likely
No.
scenario, realistically.
I'm saying you
That
could
or-
be E. You're not
There
Vince.
or Ari Gold.
No.
I think it'd be Ari.
You're not Ari. You're not
Settle
Leon
down,
and Dylan
Lloyd.
either. You are so Lloyd. Program next.